No Lulu today. She got sick.
Okay.
Good morning.
Shut the hell up.
I'm your huckleberry.
Good morning.
And away we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in the Rob Brown Show back on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate. It is Thursday. My dudes, my dudettes, my amigos, my amigas, welcome in to the 4-hour sports talk extravaganza that is this show. I am Rob Brown. And the great one, Lonzo, on the other side of the metaphorical glass this morning. Lonzo, tell me why it's not a good idea to just do 4 hours of Xavier Legette clips, because I'm pretty close to got him. He was on the Sam Brown Brothers podcast yesterday. They went about an hour and a half with XL. And I got to tell you, I think instead of doing the Rob Brown Show today, we should just listen to that podcast twice, because it might be an hour and a half of the most entertaining internet material I've ever heard. If there's any one of you out there that, like Lonzo does for everything except Xavier Legette, believes that it's a work, I need you to go listen to or watch XL on the St. Brown Brothers podcast, because this dude might be the most authentic human being I've ever listened to speak.
Yeah, I'm going to go with probably playing 2 hours of someone's podcast and during a 4-hour radio show. Probably not a good idea unless it's your own podcast.
I mean, now I just want to do a podcast with Xavier Legette. That's honestly, there are goals, there are accomplishments I still have left ahead of me. I would love to get to a point where this show becomes syndicated and is on in markets around the country. I would like to get to the point where I am somehow, for some reason, standing and doing something in a WWE or AEW ring. Like, there's all these goals and objectives I have ahead of me, and I have just added, maybe not to the very top of the list, but certainly not to the bottom of the list, sitting down and doing a 4-hour podcast with Xavier Legette. We do, because I listened to it today and it's hilarious.
We do have Panther connections. I mean, you could use those and try to make that happen.
I mean, yeah, I could and frankly should. You don't get an hour and a half with an NFL player unless you're another NFL player. I mean, this is the St. Brown Brothers. Like, they're.
So you won't settle for less than an hour and a half? I mean, one segment would be nice.
One segment would be nice, but if I'm going to keep it a buck, and you'll hear why when I play this audio later, that I wouldn't say this about a lot of players. About a lot of players, I'm like, if I can get a segment, that'd be good. That'd be great. That'd be great to get a Hall of Famer, to get a legend, to get an icon on here. Xavier Legette, that'd be 2 questions about eating raccoon. And yes, it does turn out he has confirmed that he was not joking, playing, or exaggerating, that part of his Thanksgiving feast was indeed raccoon that his cousins killed and skint before Thanksgiving dinner.
Maybe you haven't noticed this, but people tend to like us when they come on the air with us and they go like extra segments. So I mean, we get them for one segment, build up a rapport, and maybe it's a weekly segment. You don't know.
I don't know how we're going to pull this off. I don't know how I'm going to make it happen. I don't know what it's going to take out of yours truly, but I know I'm going to figure it out, and I know I'm going to do it, and you'll find out why later, because I have got, I think I only pulled 3 clips from that interview for 2 reasons. Number one, I just found it this morning. I didn't know that this was out there. I stumbled upon it bright and early this AM, and I listened to it while I was getting ready for work, while I was driving here to work, and while I was sitting over there to figure out what I was going to pull. And there's some wonderful conversation in there that's actually football. They asked him, like, what coach in your life impacted you the most? Why? What did they say? Do whatever for that to be your answer. They talked to him about who's the best player that you have played with. They have talked to him about the development and progression of Bryce Young. Also, coincidentally enough, so did Panther legend Steve Smith, and I've got some sound from him later on we're going to get to as well. But it was a fantastic conversation. And also it's Xavier Legette. That, like, dude, it was spectacular. It was spectacular. So I'm going to play you some sound from that coming up later on in the show. Lonzo's theory about the NBA Cup, flatlined. Beep. Because not only did Golden State lose last night.
No one cares.
Not only did they lose last night, but they lost to the Houston Rockets. They lost to Dylan Brooks. They lost to Dylan Brooks and the Rockets last night on the way out. And Steve Kerr was not happy with that outcome, particularly how the game ended. We're going to talk about that later on in the show because Steve Kerr has exposed a line of thinking that I have had a problem with in not just the NBA. It's a problem in the NFL. It's a problem in Major League Baseball. It's a problem across a lot of sports that has now infected the brains of NBA players and coaches. And I want to get to that later on in the broadcast because it's the first time in a while that, like, I got an issue with Steve Kerr. I got not him personally, seems like a lovely man, but a problem with a mentality that he has that I have a big problem with. And we will talk about that coming up later in the show. The SEC football schedule for 2025 has dropped. We now know where the Gamecocks are going and when they're going there. We're going to get to that later on in the broadcast. We will continue to discuss some of the individual and team college football awards that were handed out earlier this week. We'll get to that coming up later on in the radio broadcast. And there is a better than zero chance that at some point during this show today, I'm going to play that AI song of Creed singing Rudolph again. It was such a hit yesterday. Everybody loved it. I walked around downtown yesterday and people were saying, Rob Brown, I love that song so much. Can you play it again tomorrow? And I said, we'll see.
Really? So you were walking downtown in the rain yesterday?
It was 72 and sunny where people were asking me to play this song again. It was beautiful outside. Gorgeous day outside. And the people said, Rob, we love that song so much. We'd love for you to play it again. And maybe
were these people wearing jorts?
No, they were well dressed. They were cultured, people of exquisite taste. And they said, Rob Brown, we love this song so much. We need you to play it every day. And I said, I probably not every day. That might be a little bit much, but we can definitely play it again tomorrow for sure.
I would hate it if something happened to that potentiometer to where it was no longer able to function. I
would too. I would certainly say if I saw something happen to it, that would be tragic.
Hey, you know that fader button is loose and it could just fall off. And I'm not touching just the metal because I could get shocked. Or cut myself. And that's
we don't want any of that.
Unsafe working conditions.
So here's my suggestion then. Just don't touch anything at all around
it.
And then you don't have to worry about it.
So red.
Steve Kerr with your nose so bright. Your Warriors lost the game tonight.
Is he crying? Does he have
He was heated,
problems?
bro. I'm telling you, he was heated. He was mad.
Or did someone punch him in the schnoz?
He was.
Tell me someone punched him in his face.
Ball situation, 80 feet from the basket with the game on the line. I've never seen that. I think I saw it in college one time, 30 years ago. Never seen it in the NBA.
This is from that clip, by the way.
That is, unconscionable. I don't even understand what just happened.
Okay, we're gonna come back to the rest of that.
So Matt's hairpiece was loose. That's wild.
Are you what?
You didn't just see that? How'd you miss that?
He doesn't have a hairpiece.
Dude, the color doesn't even match right.
Bro, Lonzo,
How
it is
could you not
Christmas
see
time.
that?
How is your hate rising as we approach the most wonderful time of the year?
How could you not see that? Wow. It's because you're wearing sunglasses. If you were wearing your regular glasses, you would have saw the hair pieces loose.
The
So mad.
sheer
Got some, or maybe what's the alcohol that you drink so much that turns your nose red?
any of it if
Is
you
it?
drink
I
enough
thought
of
that
it.
there was a specific one that you
Any
can look at
of
them and
it.
go, they drink too much of vodka or something.
I mean, again,
I gotta look it up now.
you drink enough of it, any of it. But you putting Steve Kerr. Listen, I'm about to get after Steve Kerr for a negative mentality that I think he holds, that a lot of people hold, that I think needs to be done away with. And we're going to get to that later on in the show. But you're coming after the guy who clearly doesn't wear a hairpiece for wearing a hairpiece. Could you imagine if somebody came on this stream and said, Lonzo, your wig's a little off to the left?
I go to the bathroom and fix it.
All right, well, at least he plays along. We're going to get into all that and a little bit more later on
It's
in the program.
rosacea. That's what that is. Okay. When you drink too much. Or you could have been having an allergic reaction to whatever his drink was. Okay.
Or
Ooh.
maybe
Rhinophtema. Ooh, maybe that's what he's got.
Maybe he was just real upset that his team just lost the NBA Cup and it's something he
He was
cares
so
about.
mad that only his nose turned red. I think it's weird. I just do.
The sheer raw haterade flows like wine from the other side of the board this and every day.
I'm smiling. I was just making an observation. I'm sorry.
One
to offend you.
can be a hater and smile through it. In fact, some people get joy from being a hater. They enjoy it. They thrive off of it.
Wow, I was unaware.
Were you unaware? Is that true? All right, so we're going to get into all that and a little bit more. We will start jumping in because we are still a week and a half away from bowl season, from the beginning of the college football playoffs.
Well, we're not.
Well, not from the bowl season, from the college football
There's
playoffs.
a bowl game Saturday. What is it, Rob? Without
Yeah.
looking it up.
Poinsettia Bowl.
What is
The
that?
Poinsettia Bowl.
Is that how you say that?
How do you say it?
I've never heard.
It's a poinsettia.
That's how I've heard it said, without the accent. Poinsettia, not the Sietta thing.
Also, there's not a bowl game this weekend. This weekend's Army Navy.
Okay.
That's not a bowl game.
I thought I heard
That's
there
a
was a
regular
bowl game
season
this
game.
weekend.
You coming after me like that?
I thought I heard that.
Conference champion, Army Navy. Then we start off next Saturday. And I did look it up now, but next Saturday we have the Cricket Celebration Bowl and the IS4S Salute to Veterans Bowl. That'll be Jackson State and South Carolina State live from Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, followed up by South Alabama and Western Michigan from the Crampton Bowl in Montgomery, Alabama, a 9 p.m. kickoff for the IS4S Salute to Veterans Bowl. Then on
Rob,
Tuesday,
do you know
it's
what-
full steam ahead.
Do you know what date it is?
Today is
Yeah.
December 12th.
Right. Do you know what Saturday is?
December 14th.
Which I'm looking at the schedule and it says Celebration Bowl, December 14th.
Oh, that's right.
I'm just
You were
saying,
right.
I'm
Oh,
just
damn it.
saying.
Now I look like a moron.
I mean, you know.
I didn't know they started bowl games the same day as Army Navy. They should not do that. It should just be Army Navy Saturday. It should
By
be
the way,
nothing else.
I
Nothing else should
agree.
happen in America on Saturday. Nothing. Every business should be closed on Saturday for Army Navy. The greatest rivalry in college sports.
Yep. 2 bowl games Saturday, and then there's one Tuesday.
There is one Tuesday. Memphis at West Virginia in the Scooters Coffee
And then Wednesday.
Frisco Bowl.
There's one Wednesday.
2 Wednesday. Western Kentucky at JMU, Cal at UNLV, the Boca Raton Bowl, and the Art of Sport LA Bowl.
How much of these are you actually going to watch?
As many as I can get my stupid beady little eyeballs on.
Okay. All right.
But look, you know what we're at right now?
So we're going full on New Orleans Bowl. Well, that makes sense. I could see why we want to do that.
Care about where the bowl is. I just want the
Full on
And here's
pure
the thing.
bowl.
Keep it a buck. If you are gonna watch bowl games, it makes more sense to watch Western Kentucky at James Madison than it does to watch BYU Colorado, right? Because BYU Colorado, Shador's probably not playing in that game. Deion's not going to trot him out there to get an ACL popped months before the NFL draft. If you want to watch dudes that are, a lot of them, playing their last college football game, Western Kentucky JMU may not have the highest talent level.
I beg to differ with you about Colorado because a couple reasons. One is Deion going to be there again next year? And if so, we get a look at some of the guys who are not members of his family and see how they play without members of his family out there. I'm curious. I mean, has he done so well this year because of his family?
I mean, it's certainly a possibility.
I think there's a storyline underneath that. That's very interesting.
That's fair. Good deep dive on the journalism front. That's absolutely fair. Iowa State, Miami in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. You think Iowa State, Miami are giving you the best they got?
You're just watching to see what happens to the Pop-Tart at the end.
I absolutely am. We're getting bait and switched again, is what we are. If you don't make that Pop-Tart the actual on the sideline dancing around Pop-Tart edible, I am going to sue you for fraud, Pop-Tarts. You told me
cannibalism advocate.
It's not cannibalism, it's a Pop-Tart. I can't cannibalize a Pop-Tart as I am not a Pop-Tart.
Are you secretly a pygmy?
No. You don't know what that word means. I cannot cannibalize a Pop-Tart. The only way it could be cannibalism is if the two other Pop-Tarts eat the losing Pop-Tart, then it's cannibalism. Then it's Pop-Tart on Pop-Tart violence. It's breakfast pastry on breakfast pastry violence, and we won't stand for that on this show.
I want to see a toaster strudel roll in and eat the Pop-Tart. That's what I want to see.
What if we did have a toaster strudel Pop-Tart gang war?
Oh, yeah. That'd be
on the sideline. By the way, for the record.
As long as they're not snapping their feet, they don't have hands, do they?
Here's the most important take you'll get out of me on the show today. Pop-Tarts are good. Toaster strudels are far superior. I mean, miles and
they
miles
are
ahead.
as long as the frosting stuff that you put on there doesn't get too, and the filling doesn't get too hot. You can say the same thing about Pop-Tarts, but toaster strudels are thicker, so you got a better chance of burn. But you got a better chance of burn.
Also got a better chance that if you know how to cook them the right way, you get a more even, warm filling throughout. And if you cook them the right way and you get that even more, when you put the icing on there,
Chef
the
Elite
icing
has
warms
returned.
up. It's not elite to say toaster strudels.
Also, if you do it right.
If I was Chef Elite, I'd do what I used to do, and I'd make my own breakfast bread to turn into homemade toaster strudels.
So you're saying you were Chef Elite, but you've since put that away.
I get up at 3:30 in the morning. Correct. That is correct.
I've heard you talk about how you cook
during COVID,
supper and what you do.
During COVID, I made so much bread. I made so much bread. I got real good. I haven't made it since COVID, but when we were locked down and my work day was roll out of bed because we were in the 9 o'clock slot during COVID, or were we in the noon slot? We were in 9 o'clock. I don't remember. Actually,
dude, I don't know.
You and me were working together at the beginning of COVID.
We weren't.
Yeah. We
know.
weren't. In the early portion of COVID, it was me and Diesel, and we were on at noon. So it was like roll out of bed at 11:58 a.m., walk to the couch, angle the stream cam in a way that you couldn't tell I wasn't wearing pants and I didn't have to charge you $9.99 a minute to watch the show.
I don't think you streamed as much until I joined the show.
We streamed in limited capacity at that point. We would only do like an hour of the show or certain segments of the show or whatever. But I would roll out of bed at like 5 to 12.
The calm hours of Diesel when he was angry.
Correct.
You didn't put him on the air.
I would do the show. I would get off the air at 3, and then I would like bake bread, or I would cook dinner.
Anyone who saw the apartment back in the day is not surprised that you were baking bread.
I'm sorry that I'm classy
with those pictures on the wall.
I'm sorry that I have taste and art and style. I'm sorry that I'm a cultured individual.
Did you talk whilst baking? And
I didn't know anybody.
No, and now I'm going to knead my bread. I am now kneading.
No, that was, what I was doing at the time. That's when I was doing the Weirdo Kitchen with Rob Brown, where I was finding random weird recipes off the internet and making them.
No, we were together when you were doing that.
That was during the COVID era.
So, yeah, okay.
That's when I made the Dorito burger, which I got to say, I kind of want to make again. Those things absolutely slapped. But what I did find out is if you're going to make the Dorito burger.
If you use the real Doritos and not the Cool Ranch. Cool Ranch, that's not the way to go.
So what I was about to say was, what I did find out was Cool Ranch Doritos are the best Doritos, but nacho cheese is the way for Dorito burgers. I mean, all right? Cool Ranch is the better Dorito.
Yeah.
Cool Ranch is the better Dorito. Nacho cheese is the way to go for the burrito burger. You know what I am going to do next, though? I'm going to make a burger with crumbled up Flamin' Hot Cheetos next. I bet that's going to slap hard. real hard.
Just make sure you don't rub your eyes. And also, how long will it take to get the orange off your fingers if you're going to crumble up? I guess you do it in the bag and then pour it in there, I suppose.
There you go.
Will you use a
He's
hammer?
he's a solutions
Will
guy.
you use a hammer?
No, dude.
You
Use a
ball
roll.
peen?
Use a rolling pin.
Bowling pin.
A rolling pin, like you would use to make bread. Use a rolling pin.
Chef Elite. Did you see the look
Yes,
that Chef
rolling
Elite just
pins.
gave me?
Like every Southern grandma in America owns rolling pins like a Chef Elite. Sorry, Doreen, you're an elitist now for having a rolling pin.
I'm not going to crack on Doreen because that sounds like that might be someone.
Yeah, well,
that you
Doreen
actually
owns a
know.
rolling pin, so
Okay.
walk it back, hater. All right, we got a lot to get to. That's not Rob's adventures in bread making. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Lights.
Stay right there, guys. Got to do a quick live, and we're coming right back. Don't go anywhere, please, and thank you.
spots. That's why.
I mean, what is happening right now?
What
What is happening over here?
No, I wanted you to look at it before we block because the USA, they just went US.
There's a lot going on over here. Goodness, Hicham Shigori. That's quite a bit of work to be doing.
You're gonna chant, do it right, man. I mean, throw the A on there.
Oh no, that was an accident.
Yeah, what are you doing?
The Rob Brown Show continues. It's the Fan Upstate.
Glad
Welcome
you checked
back.
because you almost.
Yeah. Join us on the live stream, won't you? Facebook.com/The Fan Upstate. The Fan Upstate on YouTube and The Rob Brown Show on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch for you millennials out there. All the different ways you can watch the stream. All 4 hours of the show, all 5 days a week. Well, all 5 days this week and next week, then only 1 day the week after that, then only 4 days the week after that, and then we have to go back to being real-life grown-ups for sure. Back to 5 days a week every
we're still
week.
in radio. I don't know about the grown-up part, but
Okay. Well, we have to go back to people who are in the office 5 days a week.
There we go. That's
I
it.
don't love that. But you know what? We like our jobs. Hey, Bill Belichick is officially the brand new head coach at the University of North Carolina. You can go ahead and start calling it Chapel Bill. Because it's Chapel Hill, but it's Bill Belichick, so it's Chapel Bill.
Okay.
Get it?
No, it works.
You get it?
It works.
I think it's pretty good.
You won't be the first one to do that, probably.
I first want to do it today. It's very early.
Well, I haven't seen it anywhere on social media,
Bang!
so you may have coined it. Way to go, you.
TM, trademark. You hear that? You hear that? Government, it's mine. Anybody else says it, they owe me $5. Bill Belichick signing a 5-year football contract with the University of North Carolina. Come on and raise up. Take your hoodie off. Swing it around your head like a helicopter. Anyway, here's my favorite thing.
Don't tell that to Ric Flair.
Can I read you a text that I guess they are also talking about this over on our brother station WORD? Because there are two texts that have just came in. One says Lonzo. Oh wait, hang on. I have to, even though this isn't to us, I still think it's gonna catch a goal horn Selly. Texter said, Bill Belichick is a great college recruiter. Have you seen his girlfriend? Like, it's obvious, but it's still good. That's a text line goal horn Selly right there, as far as I'm concerned. Earned. He's a great college recruiter. Have you seen his girlfriend? It's good work. It's good work.
I'm not sure, but I think, well, I don't know how far up Chapel Hill is, but quite a bit of North Carolina can hear our brother station. So Bill might have heard that if he's already in town. I don't know.
They don't reach Chapel Hill.
It goes up to Charlotte.
Yeah, Chapel Hill's like,
Again, I just said I don't know.
I mean, don't if we were on in Chapel. I mean, we wouldn't be on in Chapel Hill.
Well, you will be in a week. Geographically, I don't know how far up it goes.
Wait, why will I be on in Chapel Hill in a week?
Well, you're going to be on that station in a week, and if it went to Chapel Hill, that's what I was. Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it. I was like, do you know something?
No, but
Okay.
but I mean, we can make sure we do a song where you sing as Bill Belichick, just as an homage. I'm sure he would appreciate that.
I hate Christmas. I don't like fun things, except the Manning brothers. I like them.
The sad part is all that's out the window. Can he go back to that? Can he go back to
Honestly, why
dealing with the
couldn't?
media that way?
Why wouldn't they have written
with-
that into the contract that he could?
With how present he is everywhere right now.
Yeah.
And being silly quite a bit.
For the record, it's only sad for us that we lose the personality megastar that is Bill Belichick from the Manning Brothers podcast. Like, that's the saddest thing.
He's been everywhere. He's been on McAfee. He's been, I mean, he's, yeah.
Texter said Mac Brown couldn't win at that liberal college. That place is way too woke for football.
Yeah, I don't think that has anything to do with
Yeah, I
playing
don't think it is
football.
either.
I don't either.
Could be wrong.
I mean, for some people.
Could be wrong.
politics is their sport. So, I mean,
Go outside, nerd.
yeah, it's just, I mean, think about some things that you say before you, anyway. I think some people text things just to see if they get read.
That might not be untrue. Six time Super Bowl champion Bill Belichick is now the head coach at the University of North Carolina. Ryan McGee, who, by the way, I don't think I've told you this. McGee texted me this weekend.
No, you didn't. After Marty went at him on your behalf.
He texted me. He goes, hold up, dude. He goes, you texted me one time after we met, which is not true. And I screen capped it and sent it back to him. He's like, you texted me one time after we met. I don't hear from you for a year. Then you got Marty Smith busting my cojones over here about not coming on your show. He's like, dude, I'll come on the show. Give me time. Give me some times and dates. And I was like, oh, dope, for sure. I got you, dog. And then I sent him time and dates and I haven't heard back. So now I reached out to Marty's agent. I'm like, yo, can I get Marty back? Just to give McGee hell? So hopefully we'll have Ryan on soon.
Wow. That's
I love being embroiled in some Marty and McGee drama for no reason at all.
I mean, that's some long-term planning there. It's kind of evil. I mean,
blame Marty Smith, not me.
Okay.
I was willing to let it go. I just told Marty, I was like, hey, your boy stood me up. And he's like, don't worry, I'm going to bust his ass. And he did. It was great. It was awesome. I'm gonna start some Marty and McGee drama up in here, and I'm for it. It's great.
You don't want to be the cause of the split up, though.
Those two ain't splitting up. Are you kidding me? They got the best thing. Those two may have, and I mean this, in all of the sports broadcasting landscape, Marty and McGee have the best job. They have single-handedly, they and McAfee have the best jobs in sports broadcasting. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. McAfee does game day in football season and Monday Night Raw. Nope, is he SmackDown, right? Coming back to SmackDown?
No,
or is he going to Raw? He's going to Raw.
On Netflix.
He does game day on football. He does Raw in the off season, and he does the most outlandish, out ridiculousness show of all time in the daytime. And then Marty and McGee just do what they've always wanted to do. They cover NASCAR. They cover college football, and they have a show on Saturdays. It's great.
Hey, you know what you're going to miss? You're really going to miss this because you only got a couple weeks left of this. Sharing the text line with WORD. Because when that goes away, you're not going to get to see stuff like that anymore.
I know, and there's some. It's
going to be rough for you.
I know. I don't think you guys understand.
You won't be able to send those texts to your people anymore. About
I know.
I know. What you going to do?
I know.
You're going to have to go down and like listen a little bit.
I could do an entire podcast where I just read text to the other station. I could get world famous doing that. All right. That is going to be sad. But the good news is we are going to have our own dedicated text line in the new year. Don't do it yet. Still 71307. Start your text with Fan FAN. But in the new year, the phone line and the text line will be the same number, and we will have our own dedicated text line. So you know how every time you guys send me a text that's longer than 8 words, and I'm like, hang on, I got to go find the second half of this text because we share a text line.
It'll still happen. It is still the text will still split up. You just got a better shot.
Split up, but it won't be split up in between a billion texts to the brother station. Brother station.
You got a better shot of finding it. For sure.
Oh, they'll be, I mean, at least they'll be stacked that way. So in the new year, text line, phone line will be the same line. You will text and call the same number, which means you can just save one contact in your phone. You're welcome. We're trying to make your life easier.
It's kind of awesome because we've had to share a text line for years now, since the beginnings of the station, which, I was there. I got to help birth this place. And so we've had to share a text line since then. So I think it's been over a decade. I have no idea.
All right, here's
the time anymore.
Here's why I brought up Ryan McGee. Let me read you what Ryan wrote to announce the hiring of Bill Belichick. He said, the Chapel Hill hiring that no one saw coming is the football equivalent to one of those old black and white films of two locomotives crashing head on, or some reality stretching experiment set up by scientists, the immovable object and irresistible force pitted against one another to peek into the total unknown. When Lieutenant General Leslie Groves asked Robert Oppenheimer, are we saying there's a chance that when we push that button, we destroy the world? The NFL GOAT and Ramesses the Ram, when they clashed their horns in the middle of an open tobacco field, which of their very weighty, very opposite football past will prevail by pushing over the other, end quote. Damn, Ryan.
So that's pretty awesome.
Damn, Ryan. Yeah. Somebody hand that man a Pulitzer right now. Bill Belichick, 72 years old, is taking over North Carolina. I think it is going to be a fiery disaster unless... And I clarified this earlier in the week. I'll do it again here.
Okay, you're now talking as you. You're no longer quoting this.
Correct.
Okay, all right.
This is me, RB3. Unless Bill Belichick does the one thing that I have to give credit to Deion Sanders for. Build an elite coaching staff. Build a celebrity elite coaching staff of former players. Go get Julian Edelman. Go get Teddy Bruschi.
He's already working on it. Look at who is whatever they call that. Lombardi. I forget what it's called.
Oh, yeah.
Now.
Quarterbacks coach.
No, not quarterbacks coach. I want to say chief of staff. I forget what it's called now.
Oh, chief of staff. Yeah. It's Bill Belichick's chief of staff. Yep. Bringing in a chief of staff. Let's be real. If there's a college coach that's going to have a chief of staff, it's Bill Belichick. No, it's not. He would be his own chief of staff. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Point here is Hoodie's headed to UNC on a 5-year deal. There is
general manager. He's going to be his general manager.
Nope.
That's
chief of staff.
No, it's called general manager.
Nope. Chief of staff.
That's the same thing.
Chief of staff. It will succeed if he brings in a bunch of former Patriots to convince kids to come play here. Come get NFL ready. Do what Deion did. When Deion got hired, ask the question, are we going to see other schools copy this mechanic? And the answer is at least one. We'll talk more about this later on in the show. Stick around. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate.
Never know if we get in a single there or a double. Keep me on my toes, though.
I have it set up for an option of either.
Yes, Michael Lombardi is his general manager.
That's interesting. He's building his entire his coaching staff out of Pat McAfee show guest. What if he hires Boston Connor to come run the recruiting?
Yeah, I don't think he's that desperate, but
hire Pat to be punting coach.
He was a field goal kicker in college, wasn't he? So
I have to go get pen and paper because my tablet pen is broke.
Yeah, it was broke yesterday. Why didn't you buy
I know,
one?
but I tried to fix it yesterday and I had to order a new one.
Did you ask engineering to help you? I mean, they got tools.
You can't. It's not. I can't open it. Like it's a solid.
Okay, don't be gone too long.
Play-by-play all season long. Download the Odyssey app, search the Fan Upstate, and listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Chuck Sanders with the Sports Flash on the Fan Upstate.
Up to the minute, upstate traffic. The Cordell and Cordell crash cam shows a wreck northbound 85 Spartanburg at exit 75 I-585. The right lane is closed. The delay is back past New Cut Road. Other than that, I-85 is a clear shot between Spartanburg and Greenville and all through the upstate. 25 White Horse is good north and south. From the News Talk 98.9 WORD Traffic Center, I'm Bill Brooks on the Fan Upstate.
Some people just know they can save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like to check the propane tank on your grill first before hosting a tailgate.
Let's fire up. Here, let me try. Seriously? You didn't check the propane? Who wants chips?
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
I don't know where it is.
With Allstate.
You don't know where what is?
Paper.
If you looked over on my side, like the third tray down, I have some extra paper.
Okay. Well, I'll get it next break. Here we are.
So whenever I print something out, if I have extra sheets that are blank, which happens on occasion, I just stick them in there so I can use them. It just sent you a video about the Marvel Barbershop. Dude.
Have you seen this Marvel Rivals game?
Yeah.
Have you played it?
No, because I would have to buy it, right? Pretty sure it's
I don't know. It's like a whole game.
Yeah, I'd have to buy it. I don't like Wolverine's design. He's too.
I haven't seen anything about it yet.
It's too bulky.
Okay, those are dope door handles.
I've also found out that I like the Indiana Jones game, but it's kind of boring. As far as excitement goes, and maybe it gets better.
I'm waiting for it to pick up.
Yeah, I hope I can make it to where it picks up. Maybe I've just been playing too many hyper games lately.
So, one of the realities in life is that in just about every industry, theft is encouraged. Stick with me. I'm not talking about pickpocketing a guy. I'm not talking about trying to break into somebody's bank account and steal all their money. I'm talking about theft of ideas. I'm talking about theft of concepts. I'm talking about looking at what is working for other people and figuring out how to take that thing and make that thing your own. I am talking about finding a concept or an idea that somebody has built up and then tweaking it to fit your thing and make it your own. When you get into the world that we are in now, where just about everything is centered around branding, it's not an option anymore. You can try to come up with your own unique, creative, clever ideas, but as somebody who lives in that world, I can tell you, I have come up with 1,000 ideas that I have thrown at the wall, and like 2 of them have stuck. Now, for instance, everything about this show is created and pushed by Zoe and I being ourselves. I am the same guy when I sit in this chair as I am when I sit in my chair in the Fortress of Nerditude, as I am when I sit in the chair in the boss's office, as I am when I sit in the chair at my house with my wife, as I am when I sit in a bar stool with the fellas on a Saturday night. It's just the same guy. Because to me, that's the easiest guy for me to be. And for a lot of people that doesn't click, and for a lot of people it does. But I will tell you that a lot of the games that we play on the show, a lot of the goofy segments that we do on the show, a lot of those are just repackaged from what someone else has done. Y'all know that Lonzo and I love some professional wrestling. Every gimmick you see is adopted from somebody else and then just tweaked to fit the person doing the wrestling and the new current contemporary modern audience. Ric Flair was even the name Nature Boy was taken from somebody else. Hulk Hogan's entire gimmick was an infringement on somebody else. It's no different year to year. Now, sometimes somebody's able to take that and create something new that elevates it. A guy like a Stone Cold Steve Austin, who started off as fabulous Steve Austin with the long blonde hair and was just doing a traditional, pretty boy wrestler gimmick until one day he found out that if I shave my head and I hit the boss in the head with a bedpan, I'm going to become a global icon. The Rock. Been a lot of guys that were similar to The Rock, but The Rock made Dwayne into something else. Theft is encouraged in the 2024 world where you've got to constantly be pushing into something new. When Deion Sanders got hired at the University of Colorado, there was obviously a lot of excitement around it. As I have pointed out a whole lot of times, Colorado built for the school, like not for the football team, for the school, for the University of Colorado. They built an entire advertising campaign that centered around Deion Sanders. I remember, I think it was the very first game. It was that Colorado State or whoever, that first home game that they played. Remember the one where they had, Lil Jon Lil Wayne, one of them Lils. They had Lil Wayne rapping the boys live out of the tunnel. And every time they turned the camera into the stands, you saw a new celebrity. Everybody was in there. And there was all this excitement. And then Colorado says, we got to buy into that. And they started an advertising campaign for the school where the president of the university got in front of a camera. And he says, here at the University of Colorado, we have prime views. And they show the beautiful scenery. And it is beautiful in Boulder, Colorado. Showed the beautiful scenery around Boulder. And then he said, and we have prime athletics, and they show Dion and the football team. And then we have prime academics, and they show kids going to class, and we have a prime campus. And they made an entire advertising campaign, just saying prime as many times as they could. And why the hell wouldn't you, right? Like Deion Sanders has spent years cultivating this image of Coach Prime. Of course they lean into it. But I asked the question then, if this works, do we see more schools copy this? If this works, do we see more schools lean into, whether they're from a football background or not, lean into celebrity coaches? Well, Deion and the Buffs were one bad Kansas loss away from playing for not just a Big 12 championship, but playing for a Big 12 championship and a bye in the playoffs in year 2. Now, let's keep it a buck. That's only because we've expanded to the 12-team playoff, and that's only because within the 12-team playoff, there are the 5 highest-rated conference champions going in, but it doesn't matter the reason why. That created a buzz and an excitement around Colorado that school hasn't had since, the early 90s? They won a natty in 1990. I suspect they ain't been talking about since. So it worked. Even if they didn't make the playoffs, they were right there on the cusp. Even if they didn't win the Big 12, they were right there on the cusp. The celebrity of Deion worked. And so I asked when Deion got there, will other schools follow this model? And the answer is, if it works. So my question is, do you, as a college football fan, do you truly believe that Bill Belichick is the right guy for this job? Because to me, the answer is probably not, except you now have the opportunity to steal what Deion did at Colorado. Because now North Carolina can send out their president, who can do an advertising campaign that talks about how we at North Carolina have the best. We are the best. We have a GOAT. We're both the Rams and the GOATs, right? Like, it writes itself. But on top of that, and this is where it is going to fall on Hoodie. Hoodie's got 2 options here. Hoodie can go the path of, I just want to be a normal college coach. I just want to be a guy who shows up, runs the program, coaches football. I don't want all the hype and the circumstance. I don't want all the pomp and celebration. I just want to run my football team like a football team. Or Hoodie can lean into the other side of it. Now, 2-3 years ago, I'd have said there is no chance in hell that the Hoodie is going to go with the Deion model. None, because that's not him. But Hoodie has spent a year now being celebrated on every damn TV show that he can get on. He's on McAfee's show once a week. He's on the Manning Cast every Monday. He's got his own TV show, The Film Room, or whatever it's called. He's got a nationally syndicated and distributed podcast on SiriusXM. Bill Belichick spent a year, one full football season, doing nothing but developing celebrity. Now, he was able to develop celebrity because all he got asked to do was talk about football. From a football legend's perspective, talk about football, and we'll give you like a buttload of money. I don't blame him for it. Not for a second. I'd have done the same thing. But my point is, he spent a year cultivating a celebrity status within the world of football. Will he bring that status with him and take advantage of it in Chapel Hill? Because that's what Deion did. Deion went out and he got a bunch of former players and athletes. He got guys like Warren Sapp to come in. By the way, if you haven't seen all the reels and clips of Warren Sapp, doing his thing, he went and got Pat Shurmur that's an NFL coaching icon. He went and got names. He went and got guys. By the way, Deion's coaching staff, I'm actually looking at the coaching staff roster right now, Alonzo. He seriously has like 42 coaches on the roster, right? And a good chunk of them are names.
Seems to be effective.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not mad about it. But, and by the way, on the official University of Colorado Buffaloes website, cubuffs.com, which is, as a 7-year-old child, a hilarious website. CU Buffs. He is listed as Deion.
Kind of advanced for a 7-year-old, but if you say so.
Deion Coach Prime Sanders. That's in parentheses, or in quotation marks, Deion Coach Prime Sanders. He went and he got dudes, and he built these dudes around him. And if you are a top-notch NFL talent, not only are you getting the benefit of one of the most legendary NFL players of all time in Deion, but he is surrounded by staff of other guys that have done it in every aspect, as players, as coaches, as head coaches, as assistant coaches. He's created all of this around him. And as a dear friend of mine that works for a local sports team has said to me a bunch of times, he said, Rob Brown, in the world of sports, I am a B- player. He said, I'm not the smartest dude in the room. I'm not really good at everything. You know what I do? I surround myself with people who are A+ at what they do, and I let them do that thing. And then I just kind of gather it all up. That's what Deion's done, and it's worked. I don't think, and I've said this, I'm not walking off it, I don't think Deion's all that good of an X's and O's coach, to keep it a buck with you. I don't think he's a great X's and O's guy. What I think he is a guy.
I mean, because Dabo has been labeled as just a CEO that doesn't really do anything but be the guy out front while his assistant coaches do everything. I think it's a common thing.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's not. I don't think he's a big X's and O's guy.
By the way, I'm not saying Dabo is or isn't. I'm just saying he's been labeled that.
One of the things that is a criticism of Dabo, fair or not, over the past couple of years is Dabo gets too involved. He doesn't let the assistant coach's assistant coach. Deion's not that way, at least not from the perspective and the blogs and the podcasts I've listened to about him. He seems like a dude who goes, my job, my role here is to be the leader of these young men, and I'm going to let all these other guys around me make them better football players. I'm going to make them better guys. Whether or not that's true doesn't matter. That's the image that has been put out there. So, Hoodie, I'm not saying he can or can't, will or won't, doesn't or does. What I'm saying is, when Deion grabbed the mic as the head coach of Colorado, he immediately jumped into, I'm about to make leaders of men. I want to make dudes that are going to leave here and they ain't going to have baby mamas. They're going to have wives. They ain't going to leave here and go start running the streets. They're going to leave here and go own things and buy things and purchase things and make things. And it's a great message to parents. Whether or not I believe it's irrelevant. What matters is, does the parent of that 5-star quarterback believe it? I don't know if Hoodie's got that same touch. Hoodie's going to have to lean on, I'm a football guy. I've got more Super Bowl rings as a head coach than all but one person in history. I'm going to teach your kid how to be the best football player they can be. But if theft is encouraged, and I think that it is, if theft is encouraged, my question becomes, does he build a roster of celebrity? Does he build a roster of Julian Edelmans? That's the guy that keeps coming to my brain. Why? He ain't super far removed. He's got some rings, but he stayed in touch with the next generation with his Julian Edelman podcast. We play like a clip or two a week from Julian Edelman's podcast from different guests he's had on. He's doing good stuff. So does Hoodie lean on that, or is Hoodie going to come in? Because whatever he decides to do, that's what he's doing. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. If there was, he wouldn't have signed the contract. Does he come in and build out a roster of coaches of dudes that got rings and are in Hall of Fames, et cetera, or does he come in and he go, I am going to run this the way I ran the Patriots. We are going to act as a professional football team at the college level, and I'm not bringing in the Julian Edelmans who have never coached. I'm going to build a staff of dudes that have the way I did when I was a Patriot. I don't know. I'm real intrigued. I got to tell you, I am super intrigued about how this plays out, and you should be too. Because if Hoodie works out, whether it's because he's a beautiful, brilliant mind in football or because the celebrity status elevates the program and they get more talent than ever before, if it works out either way, I can guarantee you'll see even more celebrity coaches because theft is encouraged. You know what else is encouraged? You, after you listen to the dulcet tones of Lonzo reading the Sports Flash.
In an attempt to make it look like a legitimate tournament, the Houston Rockets eliminated the Golden State Warriors, fixed, and progressed to the semifinals with a 91-90 win last night. Alperen Sengun, I said it wrong. Who cares? Led all scorers with 28, and Jabari Smith put up 15. Though the Rockets shot just 22% from three, the only Warrior with 20 or more was Jonathan Kuminga, and the Warriors were awarded only 9 free throws in the game, and their coach was very unhappy. You should watch. The first transfer portal names are starting to land in their new homes. Former Boston College quarterback Thomas Castellanos has committed to Florida State. According to a social media, Castellanos left Boston College after losing the starting job back in November. Make sure you tune in Saturday at 11:30 as the Furman Paladins take on the South Carolina State Bulldogs. It's Furman versus SC State right here on your home for Furman Paladins basketball. The Fan, Upstate.
Do you know the most important factor in your company's success? It's your people. They're the heart of your business. So how do you harness this potential? Insperity can help, from recruiting and onboarding to employee development and retention. We'll help you build a stronger, more resilient organization. See the difference the right approach to human resources can make, because how you HR matters. Find out more at insperity.com/HR matters.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-254-4570.
So I'm pretty sure I saw, and I don't know if it was a legitimate source or not, that he's setting this up so his son will take over. And it's not the first time that we've seen this in college football where see Lou Holtz, where they try to set up their children to take over. So if he sets up something effective and his son can take over when he's done, he's just set up a system that his son would know how to run. I don't know if that's the case or not, but, and I forget if it was a legitimate source or not where I saw that, but.
Also, that Marvel Barbershop, I like that guy's glasses.
I mean, the whole setup, how much do you think a haircut costs there? It's like $150 haircut.
Yeah.
Gotta be.
It was in like LA, wasn't it?
I mean, the fact that you can go pick all those, and all those graphic novels were pretty pristine looking, you know. Just wonder if that idea would work around here. Well, South Carolina Comic-Con gets a lot of people into it, so maybe it would work. We'll talk to Rob and see if he wants to set up a barbershop.
Experience the all-new reimagined Nissan kicks for yourself at NissanUSA.com today. Available feature Bose is a registered trademark of the Bose Corporation.
When it comes to the best sports talk anywhere, listen to the Fan Upstate on Odyssey, no matter where you are, in the car, at home, at work. Download the free Odyssey app on your phone. Search the Fan Upstate, and you're in the game. Hey, now we roll. The Fan Upstate. Your morning jolt of sports. It's the Rob Brown Show.
As I prepared for my evening slumber, I changed into the PJ pants. A lady friend says, you know, with all the weight you've lost, I need you to get back in the gym. And I said, why? She said, because you have a saggy butt now. I said, said, what? She said, you have an old man butt now because you had carried a few extra LBs in the gluteus maximus. And now they're gone. You got a saggy old man butt now. You need to get some squats in and fill that thing out. And I said, I don't know if that's a compliment or not. I feel like you said it with good intentions because I'm down at this point. I'm down 50 pounds since February. My birthday was the biggest I'd ever been. I was over 263. I'm now 213.
You know, I've heard that the Soggy Bottom Boys might be looking for a guitarist. I'm just saying.
That's very good. Ladies and gentlemen, Rob Finley, guitarist for the Saggy Bottom Boys. Damn it, that's really funny.
Don't hit snooze. Play the Rob Brown Show. Now morning 6 to 10 on The Fan.
The Fan, Upstate.
The Fan.
Upstate.
WYRD Greenville.
WORD Spartanburg.
WFBC HD3 Greenville.
W249DL Greenville.
W246CB Spartanburg.
Upstate.
QC, first break.
QC first break. And away we go. Hour number 2 of the Rob Brown Show starts now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rob, the great one, Alonzo, with you. Be a part of the program at 844-326-3663. That is the renewal by Anderson of the Carolinas fan phone, 844-FANFONE. That's 844-326-3663. You can text us 71307, 71307. Start your text with FAN, 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 FAN. We will read them on the air. You can tweet me at The Rob Brown Show. You can tweet Lonzo at Lonzo on Word. You can tweet everybody up in here at The Fan Upstate. If you want to come about us in that direction, you are welcome to do so. We also want you on the Ray Memorial Hotline. Go to the Odyssey app. Go to the Fan Upstate page. When you get there, you will see the little roundish but also rectangular button that says send a voice message. Click on that. You can leave us a 30 to 60 second voice note that we can play on the air. Got one yesterday as the show was going off the air from Jay in Duncan. We're going to hear what Jay had to say coming up here a little bit later on in the radio broadcast. You can get your voice on the air as well by going to the Odyssey app, go to the Fan Upstate page, and leave a voice message on the Ray Memorial Hotline. It is 7:02 in the a.m. We are 57 minutes and 40 seconds away from you having to get into the office and, do your job. But also take a break from that job. Walk down the hallway at that job. Stand around the water cooler provided by the job and talk about sports while you ignore the job. And if you're going to do that, you're going to need this.
Are you ready for the playbook of the peculiar, the almanac of the absurd, and the encyclopedia of the extraordinary? Well, you better be, because we're diving headfirst into the 3 top stories that will have your coworkers saying, "You must chill!" even before they take their first bathroom break.
No.
Here we go. Welcome to the water cooler cheat sheet on the Fan Upstate.
It's the water cooler cheat sheet, the top 3 sports stories that you need to know before you get to the office this lovely Thursday morning and start talking sports with your coworkers and your bosses and whoever else you ignore the rest of the day. This is the best part of the day, and that's why we set you up with the 3 top stories you need to know. Let us begin with item number 1. We just talked about this ever so briefly, but it is still one of the biggest 3 sports stories in the day. In my ever so humble yet frequently correct opinion, Bill Belichick is now officially the head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels. Tar Heels and the Hoodie agreed to a 5-year deal pending approval by the Board of Trustees, who will hold an emergency meeting tonight to determine if they wish to sign off on the deal. It is then, I assume, that we will get the financial incentives of this contract. Again, 5 years for the 72-year-old who worked in the NFL in some capacity from 1975 until 2018. The hoodie has become somewhat of a media superstar over the past year since then, as he got his own nationally syndicated podcast, as he has become a recurring character on the Manning cast of Monday Night Football games. He has become a recurring character in a weekly spot on the Pat McAfee show and other venues around the football world. Belichick said as part of a release announcing the move, quote, "I grew up around college football with my dad and treasured those times. I have always wanted to coach in college, and now I look forward to building the football program in Chapel Hill." The Tar Heels have not won an ACC football title since 1980. That was a long time ago. That's 5 years before Rob Brown existed. I was nary a glimmer in my father's eye the last time UNC won the ACC, and the Heels believe that Hoodie might be the guy to get them there. They put out a statement that said, quote, "Bill Belichick is a football legend, and hiring him to lead our program represents a new approach that will ensure Carolina football can evolve, compete, and win today and in the future. At Carolina, we believe in providing championship opportunities and the best experience possible for our student athletes, and Coach Belichick shares that commitment. We have already got some moves being made." Former NFL executive Michael Lombardi, who was also an assistant under Bill Belichick with the Patriots from 2014 to 2016, is coming on as Bill Belichick's chief of staff, I think is the official title. He is the general manager of the Tar Heels program. After, of course, the Tar Heels fired Mac Brown at 73 years old, they decided to go with a younger head coach and 72-year-old Bill Belichick. Talked a little bit about that back in the last hour. If you missed that conversation, worry not, my dear friends. Go to thefanupstate.com. Go to the podcast button in the middle of the page. Drop it down to the Rob Brown Show. Click on that bad boy, and you can listen to every hour of the show on demand in that spot. Let's go to item number 2. According to NFL officials, the league will consider, not do, but consider expanding instant replay assist to include face mask penalties and other plays. NFL executive Troy Vincent said at the league's winter meetings yesterday, quote, "When we see it, because I see it like yourselves and the fans, I have an opportunity to see it from a different angle and see it from a slow motion. When you think about the position of where the officials are, things are happening so fast. Sometimes the face mask can be the same color as the gloves. There's a lot happening. Concerning? Yes, because that's a big miss. That's a big foul. That's why we would like to consider putting that for the membership committee to consider putting that foul category that we can see, putting that penalty flag on the field to help. There is a frustration, and we believe that this is one category we can potentially get right. It has happened a number of times this year. Back on October 24th, Vikings quarterback Sam Darnold was grabbed by the face mask and brought down in the end zone to end the Minnesota Vikings comeback attempt against the LA Rams. On October 3rd, officials missed a face mask on Tampa Bay Buccaneers running back Bucky Irving when he ran 7 yards late in the fourth quarter. Tampa Bay instead was called for holding on the play, got forced out of field goal range, and Kirk Cousins rallied the Atlanta Falcons to an overtime victory, a victory that they did not get. The NFC South would be all but determined at this point. Vincent pointed out those mistakes and others, including Monday night. Joe Burrow got his whole damn helmet spun around sideways on his noggin, and nothing was called. It ended up being a spot where the Bengals were unable to put points on the board. That game could have been well over, well before it was. So I'm interested in seeing what they decide to do here. Vincent also cited hits on a defensive player, tripping, fair catches, illegally batted balls, and illegal double team block, illegal formations on kickoffs, and taunting as other areas where the new warrant could be considered as a possibility. Current rules allow replay assist to help officials pick up a flag incorrectly thrown on the field or in assisting proper enforcement of a live ball foul called on the field. The NFL's competition committee will review potential recommendations for owners to vote on expanding replay assist. There are more conversations ongoing. Vincent also said that one of the things they will look at, because they wish to eliminate from the game, are low blocks. He said low blocks below the knee pads need to be removed from the game. The league will consider changes. I think this might be one of the most interesting ones on the docket. The league will consider changes to the onside kick rule after, of course, the dramatic overhaul to the kickoff rules this year. He said, quote, "We need to look at that. That's a dead play. That is a ceremonial play, very low recovery rate. When we look at the kickoff and maybe where the touchback area should be during the offseason, we need to also revisit the onside kick. Options include giving the team an opportunity to run one play to gain a certain number of yards to keep possession. And, of course, the biggest conversation of all, the expanding schedule. The NFL is discussing a potential expansion to an 18-game regular season. They would need approval from the Players Union in order to make that change. But Roger Goodell said, "We are doing analysis, I would say, but I just came up with that. That's pretty good. That's going to have to be a thing."
It was an expansion on what you've been doing for years.
I've always said Roger Goodell detonated the circus song, but now we can just go Roger Goodell. I feel like it's right there for us. Anyway, he said, "We are doing analysis, I would say, but we are not finalizing any plans at this point. They'll share that analysis with the Players Union, which would need to agree to any change." So there you go. The NFL winter meetings going on right now. If any of these changes are enacted, it's going to be in the offseason. It will not be at these meetings, but the fact that these meetings are happening now in the winter meetings show that the NFL is indeed at least somewhat serious about them.
The one I didn't understand was the onside kick. So are they talking about being able to do it more, or I don't know. I don't know.
I think that's where that's why that is interesting to me, is because Troy Vincent said, "Yo, we're looking at it," but he did not say what they are looking at.
You're looking at it for what?
Yeah. Are you looking at it because we're going to go back to where you get an unlimited number of them? Maybe you have to announce them now, but you can do it as often as you want. And realistically, I genuinely do think, great one, that the final destination of this conversation is that onside kicks will be replaced by a 4th and 25, 4th and 20, something like that, where the offense will come on the field. Because at the end of the day, kickoffs kind of feel like plays you can miss, right? Like if you're in the kitchen grabbing a beer and the wife screams, "Hey, they're about to kick off," you're not in a hurry to get back out there. But if you're in the kitchen grabbing a beer and the wife says, "Hey, Joe Burrow's got the ball again," now I feel the incentive to grab a couple of high lifes and kick it back to the recliner ASAP to get set up for the next play. This is a way for them to not just get Joey B out there, but to get Joey out there with a high pressure situation. Because the thought process here is, if you don't convert the 4th and 20, 4th and 25, whatever it's going to be, the other team gets the ball wherever the play is dead at. Meaning if you throw, because you got to throw on 4th and 25, right? You go out there and throw that ball and you do not convert it, or it's an incomplete pass from the 25-yard line, that's where the other team's going to get the ball. So there's a lot of interest as to what might come out of this.
Not that I'm defending kickers, but it's another way of diminishing the kicking game, and I don't think they'll do that. I think they'll bring it back to where you can do onside kicks at any time, because right now they have killed the play. It doesn't exist at all. And by the way, the new kickoffs, I love them. I think they're more interesting than the old ones.
I actually don't disagree with that, but if you told NFL owners, managers, investors, yada, 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 here's the option for you. I can send out Blake Groupie or I can send out Joe Burrow. Which one of those are they going to sign off on? This is a way to not just put Jalen Hurts or Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow or Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen out there. It's a way to put it out there in a high-stakes scenario that sells.
You're putting them in a situation where it's a passing down and the defense can just bring everybody. So
right.
You're putting them more in danger.
I'll tell you what. I'll take that when I got Lamar back there. You're telling me I got a chance to what right now would you rather, if you're the Chiefs, and right now I'm going to give you the option, Super Bowl's on the line. Would you rather try an onside kick, or would you rather send Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and the boys out there at 4th and 25? You'd rather send your offense, be honest.
If Harrison Butker is healthy, I may go with that option.
No. Onside kicks in the NFL under the current rules are recovered at like 3%. No, you wouldn't. I would take Mahomes giving me a 25-yard play first every time. every time, and I think you would too. You can keep the field goals, keep the punts, keep the kickoffs, all that. You're replacing one aspect of it that already doesn't work.
Chiefs don't really score touchdowns anymore.
That's fair.
They just kick field goals with a bunch of different kickers.
Finally, item number 3. The NBA Cup rolls on. The 2 quarterfinal matchups last night have our semi-final matchups now set. The Atlanta Hawks following Trae Young once again, who loves nothing more on planet Earth than getting out there and ticking off some New York Knicks fans. They go to New York, and they knock off the Knicks 108-100. Trae Young ended the game with 22 points on 8 of 22 from the floor, just 2 of 8 from deep. The Hawks were 9 of 31 from range, but they put up, this is not a misprint, 104 field goal attempts. They were 43 of 104 in this game. The Knicks were 40 of 93, 11 of 42 from deep. I'm going to tell you what, you want to know what the NBA's problem is going to be? The fact that the Knicks put up 42 three-point efforts. 42!
Have you noticed the scores of a lot of these games lately? They're like 123, 130. They're way up there. So defense is down or whistles are being swallowed or something. I don't know what's going on.
I don't really think it's been that much of a change from the last couple of years. It's always been trending up because the NBA, and we're going to talk about this here with the Steve Kerr thing in just a minute from right now, the NBA is making a mistake that I think way too many other leagues are making right now. It is this belief that fans will only tune in if NBA scores are 150 to 140. That's not true. That's not true. This game last night between the Hawks and the Knicks, with the exception of the Knicks putting up 42 three-point efforts, was actually a pretty fun back-and-forth game that's developed, interestingly enough, in a little bit of a rivalry. Trae Young, I don't know if you saw this a couple of weeks ago. The Knicks came down to Atlanta to play a game. And the Knicks are kind of one of those fan bases that, they got people everywhere. They brought the Knicks fans in. Trae Young won the game, grabbed a live arena mic and said, "Hey, Knicks fans, take y'all asses home." Oh, it was great, dude. And now, last night in this game, while the ball's alive and time is ticking off after the Knicks have waved the white flag, Trae dribbles to the half-court logo, gets down on a knee while still dribbling, and pretends to shoot dice on the top of the Knicks logo. I love this rivalry. I got no part of it, and I love it. Anyway, Atlanta is on to the semifinals of the NBA Cup. They will be joined by the, yes, indeed, Houston Rockets, who knock off the Golden State Warriors last night. 91-90 is your final score. 26 points from Sengun. You had 15 from Smith. You had a dozen from Jalen Green. Not a super effective night for the Rockets, but they were effective in limiting what the Dubs could do last night. Here's the stat that killed you. Golden State had 13 turnovers in the final 10 minutes of the game. 13 turnovers with the game on the line. That team ain't clutch no mo. So the Hawks move on. They are the 3 seed. They will take on the Milwaukee Bucks in the NBA Cup semifinals. The Rockets, the 2 seed, move on. They will take on the Oklahoma City Thunder in the semifinals. Those 2 games are this Saturday night. The championship is on the 17th. And yes, we will follow that in depth because we give the people what they want here on the show. And what we want is more NBA Cup coverage. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate.
You see.
All right, guys, one more live and we're back. Stay right there for me, please, and thank you. The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. It is the Fan Upstage. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have talked, obviously, as has everyone else with a mouth and a pulse for the past handful of years, about the changing environment of one college football head coaching position. It's a new era in college football. Actually, it's not a new era. It's been this way for a while now, like 3 years now. So it's not new. If you ain't figured it out by now, you ain't going to figure out. If you don't know it by now, you will never know it. Ooh. There is an article out on ESPN, by the Associated Press on ESPN, but by the AP. They do not credit a specific writer, which if I was the writer who wrote this, I'd be furious because it's a real good article, like real good. It is about new offensive coordinator in Tallahassee, Florida, Gus Malzahn. Now, some of you may remember Gus Malzahn because Gus Malzahn has been around for a while. He was the head coach of Auburn, actually, ironically enough. No, coincidentally enough. Don't Alanis Morissette this, Rob. Coincidentally enough, he was the head coach at Auburn when Jimbo Fisher and Florida State won their last national championship back in 2013. He was with the Auburn Tigers from that season until 2020. He took over as the head coach at UCF. He was there from 2021 to 2024. And UCF was prepared to offer Gus Malzahn $5 million per year as an extension to stay on as their head coach. But Gus Malzahn passed on that at just 59 years of age. Gus Malzahn passed on $5 million a year to move on and make $1.5 million per year through 2025. So why would he turn down $3.5 million per season? Quote from Gus Malzahn. The job description of a head college football coach has changed dramatically in the last 2 years with everything, transfer portal to collectives to agents and everything that goes with that. I'm just an old school football coach. I love coaching football and head coaches. It's hard to do that a lot. So that had something to do with it. And then the opportunity and being familiar with Mike and having so much respect for this university and coach, for this university, coach against this university in the national championship. I know what this place is capable of doing, end quote. Gus Malzahn did what I said older football coaches who did not will not want to, and pardon the blunt expression, get with the program. He did what I suggested that they do. Take a job as an assistant somewhere. Take a job in a place that you don't have to do all of that. Take a job in a place where all you need to do is coach. Take a job where you are a coordinator or a position coach or anything like that. Just do anything else. And Gus Malzahn said, yep, that's what I'm doing here. That's what I'm doing here. I do not want to have to deal with collectives and agents and all that. This has been my point. Now it is, I would also like to go. This is part of the reason I don't think that Bill Belichick is going to have the run of success that the folks in Chapel Hill, North Carolina believe he's going to have. It is in part because of having to deal with all of that. Hoodie, when he was with the Patriots, he didn't have to deal with agents. He didn't have to deal with collectives. He didn't have to deal with guys that could play for the Patriots 1 year and then go bleep this, I'm out. He had a general manager. Now we did hire a general manager.
I was going to say that's why he's coming in with a GM to handle all that kind of stuff. And someone who he's worked with in the past and is very experienced at those kind of things. And college is becoming NFL light, whether people like it or not. And the business is run much of the same way.
He's bringing in Michael Lombardi to serve as general manager. And yes, in theory, the general manager is absolutely going to do like a general manager does in the NFL. You deal with the contracts. You deal with NIL. You deal with it. But here's the thing. With things like the transfer portal, that's still on Hoodie to deal with. He's got the roster construction under him. He's still got to be the guy that goes, all right, our recruiting class is this big. We got these positions of need. We have these open. I'm dealing with these handful of guys transferring out. I got to go check the portal every day to see who is in that I might be able to snag, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot that comes along with it. And Gus Malzahn just said, and I respect him for doing it. He just said, yeah, I don't feel like doing all that. That's not what I signed up to be a coach for. Here's the reality. Every job evolves and adds new responsibilities and yada, yada, yada. When I started in this role, not at this station, but in this role as a sports talk host, when I started hosting a show, my job was do a good show. That's my job. My job was do a good show. And then one day it was, hey, do a good show and also tweet. And then it was, hey, do a good job, but also go be out there in community organizations and events. And then it was do a good job, but also post social media videos. And then it was do a good job, but also write articles. And then it was do all those things and also help us run our advertising campaigns. And then it was all of those things and add this and then add this. And now doing a good show is still the primary feature of my job. But I got 19 other things that I got to do every given day. And so there may very well come a point at some point that I go, man, I don't want to do all this. I just want to do a show. And I have two options, which is I can either go, I ain't doing this industry anymore, or I can search around and find some radio station somewhere that says, hey, man, we just want you to do a show. And let's keep it a buck. I'm going to get paid a lot less. Probably not going to be in as much of a market as I love to be in. But I could probably go find a station that says, we just want you to show up and do a show and nothing else. We ain't worried about anything else. We ain't worried about social media. We ain't worried about podcasting. We ain't worried about community engagement. We don't need you running our advertising campaign. We want you to show up and do a kick-ass show for 4 hours and nothing else. But it's gonna pay me a lot less money. I'm probably gonna be living in some small town that I don't want to live in. Respectfully to small towns. There's none of that. So that is the trade-off that gets to be. Gus Malzahn could absolutely be a head coach at UCF. And that's a pretty good job. For being a mid-tier school, they've got good booster money that comes in. They're in a great recruiting market. They're right there in the middle of Florida, where they can get every talented kid that doesn't want to go to Florida State, Florida, or Miami, et cetera, et cetera. There's all of these benefits to being the head coach at UCF. It's a good school. But Gus Malzahn said, bleep that. I don't want to deal with all the stuff that comes along with being a head coach at this level anymore. I just want to coach football. I want to install an offense. I want to call an offense. I want to develop young players, and then I want to send them off and get in a new group. That's what I want to do. And he can't do that as a head coach, but he can do it as an offensive coordinator. And he can go talk to Mike Norvell, and he can go talk to the Florida State Athletic Department. And when they structure a contract, he can say, I don't deal with collectives. I don't deal with NIL. I don't deal with this. I don't deal with that. I'm going to go recruit, and then I'm going to coach. And that's it. And I respect Gus Malzahn for saying, I'm going to turn down $15 million guaranteed dollars because he was going to get $5 million a year to stay on as UCF's head coach. I'm going to turn down $5 million a year, and instead I'm going to go make $1.5 million a year being the OC in Tallahassee, because that $3.5 million a year, what a problem to have, by the way. Oh, the only person in the building who understands that problem is Lonzo. I'm going to turn down $3.5 million per season, but I don't have to deal with NILs, and I don't have to deal with the transfer portal, any more than any other OC. And I don't have to deal with agents, and I don't have to deal with this, and I don't have to deal with that. I can just come in, coach, and then go home to my wife. Sounds like a pretty good deal. right? Taking him, costing him a lot of money to take that deal, but he is prioritized. And this is what I've been saying head coaches are going to have to do the entire time. At some point, the whining and the moaning and the complaining about how tough the new era of college football is, my guy, you got two options. You can understand that even at UCF, you can make $5 million per year, and you can suck it the hell up and spend a few extra hours at the desk every week, dealing with collectives and agents and working the portal and all that. Or you can go, yeah, I don't want to do all that. That sounds miserable. I ain't trying to live that life. And you can kick the bucks onto somebody else who will do those things and go get you a job as a coordinator somewhere where you don't have to worry about all that stuff. You can just go coach. It costs you $3.5 million a year, but you can do it. This is why you're going to see, like I said, a lot of older coaches starting to phase out. And this is why, if I'm a college coach, I ain't hiring a 72-year-old former NFL guy to be my head coach. I'm going to find somebody who has been recently hot, who is doing it in the modern era, so that they go, yeah, that's just all the responsibilities of a head coach. Not, oh, I got all this added to my plate. They go, this is what it is, and I'm going to do it because you're giving me $5 million a year. I'm going to figure it out.
Ageism.
Sure. I don't think a 72-year-old guy can keep up with the younger guys who have to travel the world.
Keeping up with, it seems like he's keeping up pretty good with the youth right now.
We'll find out.
I'm just saying.
We'll find out.
If you think about it.
No, I know what you're saying there.
If you think about it, I'm just.
Back after this on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. I said keeping up, not keeping up.
I was thinking stamina. I don't know where you're going.
Kev, what's up, buddy? Welcome in. Adam, welcome in. Is the in-season cup beneficial? It will be when people like Lonzo stop pooping on it.
It's not beneficial.
All right, guys, give me 45 seconds. I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Morning, Steven. Welcome in, buddy. Good to have you.
Northbound 85 gets sluggish at 385 for a couple of miles. 276 Malden Road and Highway 14 are both wide open. From the News Talk 98.9 WORD Traffic Center, I'm Bill Brooks on the Fan Upstate.
Brotherhood of Rock. Now celebrates 25 years.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing.
Hey, guys. Lonzo has some serious hatred issues with Creed. Like it's just a dessert. That may be the best thing I've heard this year, other than the Cowboys song.
Tickets on sale Friday.
Cowboys are my team. It hurts a little bit. But, I'm getting used to it. Anyway, no offense, Lonzo.
And I need gift ideas.
I enjoy you guys. I really like this feature. Maybe I'll leave a message.
Laptops and gaming systems. Even custom holiday cards and shipping solutions to send gifts to the family that can't make it.
Perfect. Have anything for Uncle Frank? I love him, but the guy is never quiet.
Noise canceling headphones. For you.
Out in the mid-Texas town of Austin, I fell in love with a burnt orange steer. Looking and stopping a striped orange tiger. He's fine into his year. After that match, I don't care what happened, as long as justice is served.
Dan!
I can go on and think about next year, knowing that Wheaties get what they deserve. Yeah, Lonzo, I do country, real country, and then out.
Is he back in your good graces with that?
I don't know what you're talking about. Bad graces.
That's the one you were hating on for reading his take. Now he sang it to you.
That wasn't really a cut on Dan. That was on you. But anyway. Obviously talented, and you should probably up his pay. Life's the work, man. You miss me when I'm not here. It's extremely boring. I'm so unpredictable.
Quick programming note for you, the people. Lulu Kesson not going to be stopping by today. Unfortunately, she is a bit under the weather, as the cliche goes. She DM'd me early this morning, said, hey, I'm just not up to it today. We are going to attempt to reschedule Lulu Kesson for tomorrow if she is feeling better and
Come
up
on,
to it.
Dude. I mean, let her rest.
I told her. I was like, look, if you can't make it, she wrote me. She's like, hey, I've been asleep for like 2 hours. I just don't feel great. And I said, well, go get your sleep. No worries. She profusely apologized. I'm like, don't worry about it. Get your sleep. We'll catch up whenever. And she goes, if I feel better tomorrow, I'll jump on tomorrow. I was like, yeah, if you have room for me. I was like, yeah, no worries. And if you don't worry about it. We'll get back next Thursday. The bowl game's not for a couple of weeks. Regular season basketball is just getting started up. We got time. Relax.
She travels a lot for her job.
She does. She goes with the basketball team. She travels around the country following the football team. And, of course, on top of all of those things, she busted. So no Lulu Kesson today, unfortunately. We are still scheduled to be joined by Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation podcast. We got him coming up in 1 hour from now. Hayton Ass Mario for the BetQL Network will join us at 9 o'clock. And, of course, it's Thursday, and you know what that means. Fight Club with the great Malonzo coming up at 9:20 this morning. And we had an NXT PLE last weekend. We've got is this a PLE this weekend, or is this just a show that they're doing on a Saturday? I actually don't know what it is exactly.
If you don't understand Sunday night's main event or Saturday night's main event,
I know the origins and the roots. I just don't know if it's being treated as a PLE or if it's being treated as a show that they're just doing.
Well, we'll get in depth into that.
Perfect. 9:20.
Yes.
Fight Club. We've talked at length this week about the rise of Bryce Young, actual NFL quarterback. We talked about the betterment of Bryce Young.
What's that mean, actual NFL quarterback?
I mean, post-benching and pre-benching were two different Bryce Youngs.
Okay.
And I had a lot of takes about Bryce Young.
He's getting paid like an actual NFL quarterback, so I'm sure he probably feels like one.
Yeah, he ain't hurting for cash and money, homie. I have had a lot of takes about Bryce Young over the last couple of years, and some of you.
All extremely positive.
All of them extremely positive.
Which
some of
is
you.
So weird for you because you're just not that positive of a person.
You know me
on anybody or anything. That's why this stands out.
There's nothing I love more than hating on a dude.
If he walked into this room, I can just picture you doing the entire interview with your arm around him.
Yeah. That's my buddy.
That's
my little
guy.
buddy.
This is guy
that's
right
my little
here.
buddy right
yeah,
there.
exactly.
So, Rob Brown is
we boost the
his,
chair up just like to Cole Bryson Heights, and we'd be good.
One of us in this room is a hater. The other one is Rob Brown.
No, I love Cole Bryson.
So, I've had a lot of takes about BY. I've said a lot of positives about BY while pointing out that, just the performance wasn't good enough. But I've also said, it's coaching. There's a lot to do with that. There's a lot that I think has gone very poorly. that needs to get corrected. But I've been called everything from too much of an optimist. I've been told I have unlike Bryce Young, head in the clouds. A lot of it's a lot of takes.
Trying to steal my thunder?
I feel like if I take the short jokes away before you get to them, then maybe I can kind of, temper the hate a little bit. I don't know if it's working.
Yeah, I don't hate him. I don't.
You know who else doesn't hate him? Carolina Panther legend Steve Smith.
Hey, I think benching him is a positive. It gives him an opportunity to sit back and watch football. Watch it in a way that he's never had to watch it before. He's never watched football from the sideline. He's never been in the situation he's been in before heading into this season, which is not playing good football, not considered playing excellent, doesn't look like he's processing well, doesn't this, doesn't that. And he gets back and he sits down and he has an organization. Kudos to Dan Morgan. A lot of reports coming out. Dan Morgan, after benching him, went to him and said, hey, I'm your biggest cheerleader outside of your parents. Man, if a general manager who can bench you as part of the process also sits you down and say, hey, this is why, that's how you conduct business. That's rare. Doesn't happen a lot, but it's happened enough. I don't believe this can happen to everyone. It has to go with the right people, with the right chemistry, but also the right perspective and mindset and maturity for Bryce Young to be able to handle all of the roller coaster emotions that he's had to deal with, whether it's personal life, whether it's unrealistic expectations to take a team to the Super Bowl because he's the first overall pick, because he won the Heisman, because he did such a great job at Alabama. And all of a sudden, let's be honest, none of that translated to success for Bryce Young at all last year. And starting out in the beginning of the season looked bad, looked awful. And now he's going toe-to-toe with Jalen Hurts, who was looking like MVP a couple of years ago. Went toe-to-toe with the MVP, Patrick Mahomes.
Yep. Everything that I've said, Steve Smith's on board with. And I appreciate that. Just to round the Steve Smith portion of the conversation out, here is the other minute or so that he spent on BY. All of this, by the way, from the Steve Smith 89 podcast, available on YouTube. Did about a full 17 minutes on BY, but here's the last 54-ish seconds that jumped off the page at me.
The person who should get the most credit out of this entire situation right now is Bryce Young. He has handled the situation brilliantly. This has been a situation nobody wants to go through. He was put through just maybe the worst rookie quarterback situation we've ever seen a player go through with everything that went on organizationally.
The worst that could be successful, and it wasn't necessarily his fault. It wasn't like he wasn't coming to work on time. He didn't have and this is my words, he didn't have no booger sugar problem. He wasn't sitting there running the streets. He wasn't out here with 19 baby mamas. It was nothing
to do with him.
It was stuff structurally and the lack of support, the bad coaching situation that he was just thrown into.
Thank you. I stood up and took a bow after that take. Because if Lonzo's going to keep banging the drum that I was wrong, you now got to tell Steve Smith he was wrong because he got the same take.
Yeah, I have no problem with telling Steve Smith he's wrong. I am curious, though. How tall is Steve Smith?
Steve.
No. You stood next to him. Right. You don't remember how tall he was.
I do.
I know. Were live.
I want to give you want a number. I'm going to give you a number. 5'9". If I didn't have that number, I'd be like about here, which doesn't really do much for radio. About here. All
right. There's this thing. I kind of stick up for long-haired people. Rob sticks up for people who wear hockey jerseys, and Steve Smith sticks up for people that's taller than him. I mean, that's just
you'll notice
that's just how that works.
You'll notice there's no take on the take. You'll notice it's just Steve Smith's short too. Because the take.
Steve Smith's also a bully.
Yeah.
He's a big time bully.
Yes, he is.
I will say this. I phased out at a certain point.
Because you were like, oh, crap, Steve Smith saying everything Rob Brown's been saying for a year.
Because
maybe Rob knows ball.
Because what someone else thinks like that doesn't change the fact that Bryce Young's still short. And here's the other thing. I have said Bryce Young has improved. But when the game matters, at the end, he gets happy feet, and you're going to go back, Xavier Legette, Xavier Legette. Okay, all right. And yes, you do sound like that. Unlike when you say I sound a certain way. You absolutely sound that way because I got really emotional. That's about as emotional as I'll get. He is improving, and I am so glad that he's improving because I am out of the two people in this room, I'm actually a Panther fan too. So I want them to do well, but everything around him needs to improve, and I still don't know that he's the guy going forward. I don't. It would not shock me if they don't draft a quarterback. I don't know who's going to be left if they, but they're not going to win. What good does playing well do if you don't win?
On the road at Philadelphia.
Justin Fields played well. He did. He won some games. They got rid of him anyway. Why? Because he didn't win enough. And Bryce Young is not winning enough.
Again, I swear, I feel like I know what the next, I'm going to have a flag made. I'm going to hang it right under the TV that says wins are not a quarterback stat, because I feel like we have to
do
say
that
because
no one will see it because your body's like right across that.
No, it's going to go.
No,
right,
that's not where you pointed.
It's going to go right here.
You pointed under the TV.
I'm doing it today. I'm making another flag that says wins are not a quarterback stat.
It would fit right there.
Right
if you go spend your money on that, you go right ahead. What color are you going to make it?
Wins are not right now silver and blue, and I'm going to put a big fat 9 on the side of it because wins are not a quarterback stat.
I dare you to do that.
Here's what I'm going to say. What I'm going to say is Steve Smith's right. Now, he's right like 4 months after Rob Brown had the same take.
Trey wants to know what it would be like. It'd take for Lonzo to wear a Bryce Young
Probably
jersey.
about 22 years of treadmill jogging.
Yeah, but that's close to more than that. I have to lose a lot of weight, dude. A lot.
I think that when we talk about this whole wins and losses aren't a quarterback stat, if you are pinning that game on Bryce Young in any way, shape, or form, I have to take it as meaning one of two things. Either number one, you didn't watch the game, or number two,
let me tell you, you don't know ball.
There's only two options.
You tell us that all the time. According to you, there's only a couple people who actually know ball, and you would be one of them. And I'm not. I've said many times I've got a GED. I barely passed that, so I don't know a lot of football. Every once in a while, I get lucky and have a decent take.
Let me ask you this question. Sincere. Jokes aside, if XL catches that ball, everything else about that game is the same. But he catches that ball, he rolls in, he scores, the Carolina Panthers win. What's your reaction to that? Now Bryce Young did enough?
No, I'm excited that the team won. And here's the thing. I watched the entire game. Don't accuse me of not watching the game. I watched the entire game, replayed some of the plays over again, and I said, he played really good 3 quarters. In the fourth quarter, I thought he got happy feet again. And yes, Legette did drop the ball, but he has a reason because Bryce Young nearly got him killed by throwing the ball in a way where he caught and hung on to the ball, but he got destroyed and he didn't recover from that hit. I believe he actually went into the blue tent for a while, and he was not the same guy for the rest of that game. And that was Bryce Young's fault. He could have threw the ball a little bit better, and maybe Xavier doesn't take that kind of hit. I loved him for 3 quarters. In the fourth quarter, I thought he went back to some of the same old things of happy feet, but he is starting to get it. He is starting to understand it. And I look forward to them playing better the rest of the year. But I don't know if they win another game, especially if they lose to Dallas. If they lose to Dallas, they're not winning another game the rest of the year.
Bryce Young, as far as I'm concerned.
Did you see the look on his face? You're just horrible. Why can't you see what I see? I'm giving you my take as a fan of the team.
I'm saying about you. It's not about you. What I am saying about Bryce Young is that man still under pressure in this game. That man was escaping sacks. He had hands on him constantly and got out of them and then delivered good football. There was one rolling out to the left where he was dead to rights in the end zone. I don't know how he got away from the defensive end, but he did, and then delivered an absolute strike down the sideline on the runaway from pressure. Just about everything that you would want a second-year quarterback who's still, to Steve Smith's my point, you are still not a fully built football team. You're not. Xavier Legette is a dude. I'm not arguing. Xavier Legette's a dude. But there's still a lot of improvement I need to see out of him. You are still rolling with your absolute guy is a 30, however old Adam Thielen is, slot receiver. That's your number one guy. Now, I do want to give credit to Dan Morgan and Dave Canales because they went and they got Deontay Johnson out of Pittsburgh. Well, it turns out he's a head case. Now, can you ding them up for not knowing he's a head case and making a bad decision? I mean, I guess so, but there weren't a lot of top flight wide receivers available to this team. So they went and they got the best one that was out there, at least athletically, in Deontay Johnson. It turns out he's a head case. They send him up to Baltimore. He refused to go in the game last week because he wasn't getting his. So he said, bleep that, I'm not going in. And they have fined him and suspended him. They tried, and I got to give him credit for trying. Unfortunately, trying in the offseason doesn't really get you anything on the field if it goes sideways. So
Bryce Young's worst game stat-wise in about a month, 191 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, quarterback rating of 69.6. Now, you can blame some of that on drop passes for sure. But that is not, stats-wise, and you're a stats guy, that's not really statistically that great of a game.
I'm going to go find out.
Unless you ran for like 340 yards.
I'm going to go find out, and I'm going to go, I am going to go look at the All-22 cam today. I would bet you on passes that I will even let you tell me if it's fair to count them or not. Like XL's catch that would have been the game-winning touchdown. I'd be willing to bet you right now, today, Bryce Young's losing 30 to 40 yards a game in drop passes. That number should be closer to 230 with 2 or 3 touchdowns.
All right, so he might very well be, but the question on that though, are they good passes? Are they?
That's why I said I'll let you determine.
Are they too far in front? What are they? As far as an NFL receiver, the catch radius is pretty big.
Was the pass to XL a good pass?
It was, but he was beat up.
That's 30 some odd yards.
But you keep talking about one pass. But he only threw for 191 yards, which means
if you can't catch the ball, take your ass off the field, right? Like if you came in here one day and I need you to be the best version of Lonzo and you cracked the mic and you were like, my voice is shot. I'd be like, you don't need to be here right now, pal. I don't know why you'd sound like that. I don't know what condition that is. But
like you after 2 AC/DC songs?
Yeah. Okay. Correct. Yet I still show up. I'm hard-headed. What do you want? All right, 30 to 40 yards a game. That's my guess. That's what BY's losing on the stat pad with drops. You know who doesn't drop the ball? Lonzo at the top of every hour with the Sports Flash.
Oh, now I'm okay. My takes are horrible, but I can read Sports Flash.
Yeah, well, then I don't have to do it.
Not really. Yeah, this thing was made for me. 6-time Super Bowl winning coach Bill Belichick has returned to coaching after signing a 5-year deal with the University of North Carolina. The 72-year-old has been out of coaching since leaving the New England Patriots after the 2023 season, and age matters, according to Rob Brown. UNC hasn't won an ACC title since 1980. Houston Rockets eliminated the Golden State Warriors. It's a work and progressed to the semifinals with a 91-90 win last night. To that meaningless thing. I don't even remember what it's called. The midseason. Yeah, the Lakers won it last year. Who cares? You know what you should care about. Tune in this Saturday, 11:30, as Furman Paladins take on the South Carolina State Bulldogs. It's Furman versus South Carolina State right here on your home for Furman Paladins basketball. The Fan, Upstate. Let's make sure I do my worst read when the boss is driving into work, because, it's a good move.
Open enrollment is going on now. Don't be frustrated by having to choose your health plan on your own. South Carolina Blue is here.
I can't blame that on Rob. Part of the fun is a distraction. I should be better than that. I should have wrote some of my own stories because I don't believe in I mean, I don't care about a lot of the stuff I'm reading, and that makes me, I should be better than that. And I'm not. I'm a horrible person. I don't like short people. I don't deserve to be here. I wait every day for them to come and tell me, hey, we made a mistake. Why are you here? I would say the next read's going to be better, Steven, but I can't guarantee it.
To employee development and retention. We'll help you build a stronger, more resilient organization.
The life of a hater is difficult, apparently. You know, when no one believes in you. I'm not going to say it ain't easy being green. It ain't easy being me. I mean, you know, constantly pursued and downtrodden, depressed.
Poor guy.
Talked down to, cast out, forgotten. But remembered when things need to get done that other people don't want to do. I mean, you know, there's that. Still, everybody coming on the Ray Memorial Hotline and coming at me. I mean, what did I do? Just trying to do my job, man. Disregard everything I just said. Rob's wrong and he's mean.
I'm a mean guy.
I mean, look at him.
I know.
You don't wear sunglasses like that and be a nice person. I think he just wants to be Bryce Young's agent. Probably should be. No, Jim Carrey, you should not return to a sequel of The Mask.
Yes, you should.
Because people rarely remember that movie. And there was already a sequel. Son of the Mask.
I did not know that was a thing.
Yeah, well, it definitely happened, and it was not good. I think I saw part of it. Out of all the things that I do in this building, the thing that I like the least is reading the Sports Flash.
You want me to do it?
No. The whole point was, no. I like to be challenged. I mean, you know, obviously I don't read well, but on the days I do, there's no one who could stand next to me. So there's that. Beneath me? Yeah, but not next to me. Screw you, Rob Brown. You want me to do it? Whatever, man.
The renewal by Anderson of the Carolinas fan phone is open at 844-326-3663. The text line is open at 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N, and we'll read them on the air. The Twitters is open at The Rob Brown Show, at Lonzo One Word, at The Fan Upstate. And, of course, the Ray Memorial Hotline is open as well. Go to the Odyssey app, A-U-D-A-C-Y, put it on all of your digital devices, and we will play them on the air. Say whatever you want, whenever you want, day or night, rain or shine, doesn't matter to us. Send it to the Ray Memorial Hotline by going to the Odyssey app, clicking on the send a voice message button right there on the Fan Upstate page, right at the top, and drop us a line. I bring that to you now. because it is time for the Audio Blitz. Now, ordinarily, we would be joined by the lovely Lulu Keston here on the show. She covers the South Carolina Gamecock Athletic Department for the Greenville News. But unfortunately, Lulu is a bit under the weather today. So if she is up to it, she will join us tomorrow on the show. If she is not, then Lulu will rejoin in her regularly scheduled broadcasting time a week from right now. Instead, we do what we do the other 4 days of the week here in the 8 o'clock segment. That is the Audio Blitz, the best sound that we have heard since the last time we did the Audio Blitz. And that includes, ladies and gentlemen, the Armada AM Audio. This is where you get your chance to shine. You go to the Ray Memorial Hotline, you send us that voice note, and if it makes the cut, you'll get played in this segment at 8 o'clock. The Armada AM Audio is part of the Audio Blitz every day at 8 a.m., and we begin with a take from Jay. Jay sent us a voice note from Duncan, South Carolina, and Jay had this to say. After Rob Brown switches his computer feedback because he had to edit and make sure that Jay didn't say any naughty words that he can't play on the radio. He didn't, so we play it now.
Hey, guys. I think Lonzo has some serious hatred issues with Creed. And I feel like it's just undeserved. That may be the best thing I've heard this year, other than the Cowboy song you just played. And the Cowboys are my team, so it hurts a little bit. But, I'm getting used to it. Anyway, no offense, Lonzo. I enjoy you guys. I really like this feature, being able to leave a message. Have a good day.
Thanks, Jay.
I'm not offended. By the way, the Cowboy song far superior to the other song.
Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, had a very shiny nose.
The Creed concert, the reason why I'll never go to a concert again ever in my life. It was the worst experience that I've had going to a venue or any of the things that went along with it. Only part of which has to do with Rob. Most of it has to do with other things. And I just when I hear it, it brings up bad memories. And Alder Bridge is a far superior band.
Nah, Creed is the superiorist.
Alder Bridge has had more hits.
I don't know that that's necessarily
Look
true.
Look it up.
I will. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying I don't think that that's necessarily true, but we'll find out. However,
one of your favorite songs of all time is Metalingus.
It is. You think you know me.
And that's Alder Bridge. Just saying.
I know. It's a slapper. It was actually
theme for the Judgment Day. That's Alder Bridge.
Metalingus is did you do your Spotify Wrapped? I did my Spotify Wrapped.
I did.
It was my third most listened to song this year. Was Metalingus. Are you kidding me? That's the slapper. That is the Rob Brown hype up song. The top two.
What was your 1 and 2?
My Sacrifice by Creed was number 1.
Of course.
And Shoot to Thrill by AC/DC was number 2.
Look at you.
I have a type.
Yeah, mine would be a song you've never heard of before. It's called I Don't Want to Fall in Love. It's very keyboard heavy. She was a one-hit wonder, so much so that I forget her name at this moment. But I love that song, played it over and over again, rediscovered it. Apparently, I played it a lot, and that got to be my number one band, Alder Bridge.
You know what my number one band's going to be next year?
How is it not this year?
Red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose.
And this was an artificial intelligence singing. So
Yeah.
so you prefer
My new favorite band is Creaide.
Yeah, you prefer computers over actual artists. And I'm not going to
That
do
is not true because I have a new favorite country music artist, and he goes by the name Dan Dan.
Out in the mid-Texas town of Austin, I fell in love with a burnt orange steer. Hooking and stomping a striped orange tiger, they put a final into its year. After that match, I don't care what happens, as long as justice is served.
Don't ruin it.
I can go on and think about next year, knowing that weenies get what they deserved. Yeah, Lonzo, I do country, real country. Dan out.
Here's the thing, Dan. Where's your twang, man? You must be doing bro country, the stuff that Rob hates, country. You got to have twang to do country.
No.
By the way,
no.
You sang really well, but you sound more classical than you do country.
He sounds like Marty Robbins.
He does not sound like Marty Robbins.
Sounds like Marty Robbins.
He does not sound like Marty Robbins. And next time,
in the mid-Texas,
I want to hear some guitar in the background.
Austin,
I want to hear some guitar in the background.
I was just going to say, Dan, we may need to. I actually know how to play that song on guitar, Dan. We may have to do a collab.
I bet it doesn't have that kind of flair that the original does. Even though I'm not a country guy.
Well, if I could do that, I'd just be an artist.
It would be on, aren't you?
I wouldn't play in dive-ass rock and roll bars on Friday. Actually, I still would because it's awesome, but not the point.
I saw, the only reason why I know that song was on a bunch of K-Tel records, which were best of CDs before there were CDs. Always advertised on TV.
Dan, the super fan man, catches the Goalhorn Selly for an excellent message on the Ray Memorial Hotline. Bravo, good work.
Yeah, Dan. I want to hear some country rap.
Bravo.
Just see if Rob will praise it because he hates it. So let's hear some country rap. By the way, the content of the song, really enjoyed that.
That was phenomenal.
Good job.
Good job. Good take from Jay and Duncan. Good take from Dan in TR.
Who was Dan roasting?
The Tigers.
The who?
The Tigers.
Which ones?
The Tigers. You know which Tigers. Yeah, I wasn't going to say it. All right. Let's keep going.
You said it 3 times. I had to get that in there.
Now we go with the moment that I've all been waiting for.
I've all been waiting for.
The moment I've all been waiting for. Yesterday, Xavier Legette was on the St. Brown Brothers podcast. Of course, Amon Ross St. Brown, Moniz Brown, his brother, both NFL players. They do a pod together because which NFL player doesn't do a podcast in 2024? But I'm going to give them all the credit in the world because they had the legendary Xavier Legette on the show. And I got a bunch of sound, but I have to start with the one that caught my attention. Y'all remember the week leading up to Thanksgiving when every reporter everywhere was asking every NFL player ever, hey, what's your favorite Thanksgiving food? And XL said, I got really excited because my cousins called me. They told me they killed a couple of raccoons, took the clothes off of them. We're going to and I said, as the official Xavier Legette translator of the upstate, a role and capacity that I'm honored and proud to have been elected to by myself. I understood everything about this except for, I think he said he's going home to eat raccoon.
Well, y'all probably seen that video when I tell them folks I eat coon, I eat raccoon.
You what?
I eat raccoon.
I didn't see that. I said, oh, what do you mean raccoon? Like the raccoon?
Like a raccoon that you see in the trash can.
Where do you even eat that at? Where do you even get that?
I hunt it, I kill it, I skin them, cook them, eat them, all that.
So when's the last time you had a raccoon?
Thanksgiving.
So you went and got the Thanksgiving, you killed the raccoon, or you had you found
my cousins, all my people them hunting all that. So my cousins them they killed it. They called me like, yeah, we got that coon. We got that coon. Yeah.
That sounds crazy. We got that coon.
Wait, what does it taste like?
It got its own taste. Everybody try to say stuff taste like cheese.
Uh-huh.
But that coon got its own taste though.
That coon.
Interesting. I never heard that. That's a first. Eating a raccoon.
Yep.
All right. So I looked this up because I was curious about this. According to AI Overview, so it's got to be true. I mean, if they can sing, they also have to know how to. Raccoon tastes similar to venison or goose. And
I believe it.
Often described as tender and flavorful. Some say it's greasier and more tender than dark meat, chicken, or turkey.
Okay.
Here's some tips you can try for cooking raccoon. Clean and cook properly. Raccoons can carry pathogens like trichinosis, I believe it says. So you should handle the meat with care and cook it to a safe internal temperature.
Always handle your meat with care.
With 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Slow cook it, especially the hindquarters, which is where most of the meat is. And also you can season it with salt and pepper. Some cultures that have historically eaten raccoon include the Kitsamakalum, the Chinokans, the Southern Coast Salish, Lower Lilowawiwet,
Yeah, nailed that one. Stuck the landing. French judge with a 10 out of 10.
And Potawatomi.
Actually, did nail that one. That was
And
good.
also the Micmac.
And the Micmac. Very good.
Yes.
Listen to Professor Zoe over here.
All right. Lilloot.
Hey, you had the stones to try it. I wouldn't have.
I mean, I think I
I'd have
think
just
I
skipped
got that
over
right.
and pretended it didn't exist.
Yeah.
Xavier was not done. Hey, XL, what do you spend all that NFL money on?
My religion, my people, man, for real.
Okay, that's love.
Yeah, I like to take care of them, man. Because I mean, I done made it, so I mean, I did pretty good for myself.
Right.
I want to pour that back into them, like let them keep their money and keep stacking up there, and let me just take care of the little stuff that they're gonna need.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't like chains, no jewelry, no cars, no.
I got like three chains, but
only 3?
Yeah.
That's
3
it?
chains, 2 bracelets, 2 pair of earrings. I'm done with the jewelry though, man.
You done with the jewelry?
Is maintaining horses, is that expensive or not?
Oh yeah, no, that do cost.
That do count.
That do cost, but
yeah, how much is dollar bill like a year? How much you spend on dollar bill?
For about a year?
Yeah, like around. You're pretty penny.
Yeah. That's a pretty penny.
That's a pretty penny. Now, the one I need you to know, I listened to this probably 4 times before we started the show today. XL. Hey, you know what? I'm not even setting it up. Sit back, recline, relax, and enjoy.
What else you eat? That's weird.
I eat squirrel.
Squirrel. I've heard of that. People eat squirrel.
Okay.
I eat rabbit.
Rabbit. Now you just eat little. You just like extraordinary in the forest and. It's just like squirrels, rabbits.
Just like the little that runs around.
Y'all boy come to my city and try all this stuff. I'm telling y'all gonna like it.
Okay, what city is that?
Mullin, South Carolina.
I'm never going there. I'm kidding.
Mullin, South Carolina.
Mullin.
I'm kidding.
Raccoon, rabbit,
Let me see where it's
squirrel.
at on the map, actually.
But that's some crazy shit. You can't just buy a rabbit. Like can you just buy a rabbit at the store? In Mullins or
Yeah, but we ain't doing that one. We them they good. We going in the woods to go get.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you're like in the middle of nowhere, huh? Like the furthest city. Like how far is the airport from you?
45 minutes, man. I'm close to Myrtle Beach.
Oh, okay.
Myrtle Beach, 45 minutes from me.
Oh, okay, never mind. It looked like you're some forest people, man.
Bruh,
that's crazy.
So what kind of fast food do they have in Mullins? Do they even have fast food out there?
Man, all the thing we got, man, is KFC, Burger King, and 2 Chinese restaurants.
No McDonald's?
We ain't got no McDonald's.
Damn. Whoa, that's actually crazy. I don't think I've ever heard of a city that doesn't have McDonald's.
Oh, we got a Subway. We do got a Subway.
I got Wi-Fi?
That's it. I just wanted to share that with you all.
So have you had squirrel or rabbit before?
I've had squirrel many times. I've had rabbit many times.
Me too.
Absolutely.
So so we've had a good portion of what he eats.
Which is why I'm not averse to trying raccoon, because it's like, what's a raccoon but a rabbit with a mask on? You know, like it ain't all that much different. I don't think. But I do some raccoon gumbo. I could make up a raccoon gumbo.
Raccoons eat trash, and that kind of. But so do other animals.
Shrimp eat other animal poop, and I still will crush a shrimp buffet.
I didn't know that.
Crush is what you think they eat, man. They're scavengers.
Plankton.
That whole interview was on the St. Brown Brothers podcast, which you can find on. And by the way, it's worth watching on YouTube. They did a whole video, much like we do every day at thefanupstate.com, the Fan Upstate on YouTube, and the Rob Brown Show on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. They did a whole thing about it. And my favorite thing is that is towards the back end. The longer they talk to XL, the more the St. Brown Brothers like started falling apart. Like the first legitimately like 30 minutes of that podcast, they were kind of just, Again, they're not the most charismatic dudes in the world. Like, I don't know that respectfully. I don't know that their podcast is cracking the list of things I have to listen to week. It is when XL's on there. Like, by the end of the pod, they were just like, what the is going on right now? It's great, man. It's great. Texture said coon and rabbit are pretty different in taste. No, I'm not saying they taste the same. I'm saying if I can eat a rabbit, I don't think, like, it doesn't seem like eating raccoon is all that weird. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like one of those things that when he first said it, you're like, raccoon? But then the more I talk about it, the more I'm like, dog, I've eaten weirder stuff than raccoon. That ain't bad. Alex Guest texts the show, of course, host of the Saturday Morning Scramble and various other guest spots around the station, and says, and I quote, coon tastes good. So, Alex, yes, AG's had some coon in the past.
So we could have Alex on the program, and he could cook up some raccoon. And,
dog, if we can hook up,
if
we can bring in like a Blackstone and set it up in the corner, and somebody wants to skin and bring in a coon, I'm down. I'm down to try it for sure.
I think we might need engineering approval over that, but we might be able to get that. We know a guy.
Texter said, listening to XL makes my brain hurt. Not mine. It like scratches that part of the brain that like makes me a happy fella. Are you kidding me? Does that guy not just sound like joy personified? He just sounds like a happy dude. And finally, Texter said, I love the air horn. Let's go! And then we had like 7 texts about the Creed song.
Yeah, let's go. I have to
break.
I have to tinkle.
Alex said, I never said I could cook it. Also, possum. Get you some of that. I've had possum, actually.
I have not. That's
pretty good.
All right. I might try raccoon, but possum, I don't think so.
Texter said raccoon and possum taste about the same. How about that? It's the culinary experience of the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Got to hit the head, kids. Be right back. Oh, sorry. Sorry, my bad.
I just said that's where I'm going. You could have.
All right. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. 2 minutes. I can't do raw oysters anymore, Trey. It is the saddest thing in my life. I love raw oysters, and I can't eat them anymore.
Why?
Because I end up on the crapper for hours.
Oh, okay. So it has nothing to do with them looking and tasting like snot.
No, I love raw
Okay,
oysters.
all right.
I love nothing more than when somebody else at the table says, ooh, I don't eat those, because it means I get more. I love raw oysters. But the last 4 times I have eaten raw oysters, it has wrecked me. Like almost had to call into work one day.
Are you snobbish on oysters like you are on other seafood? Do you have to have it from a certain place?
I can't have any of them anymore.
Well, I mean,
I've gone to 3 different restaurants to get the oysters.
Okay, all right.
I like.
What about cooked oysters? You don't like cooked oysters?
I don't know if I can still have them. Yes, I love a casino oyster. I love a baked oyster. I like all kinds of oysters, but I love raw oysters, and I cannot eat them to the point that I have talked to Courtney before and been like, what if we get raw oysters on Saturday night so that I don't have to leave the house Sunday? Like, I'm willing to.
Wow, you love that
run the
food that
risk.
much?
I
think-
love
I
oysters.
think it would be better just to remember that they were good and not have to suffer because, you might end up somewhere and not be able to get out of somewhere.
That's what I'm saying. If I eat them on Saturdays, then I don't have to leave the house on Sunday. I'll just move the TV to the crapper room, and then I'm set.
What if you lose so much of your insides that you end up in the hospital?
I haven't done it yet. I do.
I have. I don't recommend
For
it.
the
That's the reason why I'm saying that.
For the record, I have not been able to eliminate every variable from my can I still eat raw oysters experiments. So I need to do it at least one more time just to confirm that's the case.
Hey, there's a restaurant that always makes me sick after we eat there, and we eat there once a year on Saturday nights just to remind us. I'm pointing if you don't remember. It's
Okay.
It's over there.
Yep.
They serve a specific thing, which that specific thing is actually pretty good, but everything else not so much. It's almost time for that, actually. No, I'll wait till January. Get it over with in January. Yeah.
Don't ruin Christmas, Lonzo.
We still got plenty of time. I don't know why you're putting your headphones on. If they took some of this break and put it into the other breaks that are shorter, that would be.
And a store near you. Can't wait to hear what's next on Wire to Wire with Cole and Diesel. Tell me what's coming up. One last high school coaches.
Trey wants to know if you've ever been to Shuckin' Shack.
I have not been to Shuckin' Shack. I don't know where Shuckin' Shack is. What is Shuckin' Shack, and tell me how to get there, because I am.
Obviously, they shuck stuff at the shack.
Well, obviously,
so
it's an oyster joint.
It's a
As
shack
oysters, I
shucking
believe, are the
place.
only food that is shucked. And sometimes when I eat them, I get shucked up.
You're happy with it, so I guess it's.
Tech, son of a biscuit. Is it 1-1?
No, that's 2.
That's not 2.
It's absolutely 2.
Are you sure?
Yes.
So it's 2-1?
Yes.
Damn. If I lose 2 weeks in a row, it is going to be just a devastating stain on my career.
Good.
Corn Chip text the show 71307. Start your text with fam. He said, hit that hockey horn about 7:30 on the daily. Wakes us all up.
It's not 7:30 though.
Well, not anymore, but it was earlier.
All right.
Turns out they run 2 of those a day through here. Texter said, I love the air horn. Let's go. Again, hit me on the text line. Give me a good text and earn yourself a Go Horn Selly for a good text.
Yeah, but you're giving the horns when you first brought it about. You said it's going to be texture of the day, and now how many times
I
you've
didn't say
done
texture
it
of the
in
day.
a row?
I did not say texture of the day. I said if you reach out and touch us textually, and I like it, you'll catch a goal horn. All right, but you guys, it's got to be good textuality.
I think rarity makes it stand out more. But
we want textual healing. Textual healing.
J-Bo. That's not good.
I didn't say it was. J-Bo text the show, said I was just driving on the train tracks when you played the train horn. Scared the out of me.
Right. You're going to be causing accidents, man. What are you doing? We care about the Armada. You don't need to be doing that.
Texas said, Rob, I honestly would bet that Bill Belichick will not be the head coach by the time the Gamecocks play them in 2028. I actually think that's probably a good possibility. There is a theory that one of our stream audience brought in earlier, and Lonzo, I don't know if you agreed with it, we're repeating it, we're what, but there's a theory cooking right now.
And said that I read it somewhere. I was discussing it with the stream when you were out of the room.
The theory is that Bill may have gotten this job because he is bringing his son Steven in on the coaching staff. There is a theory cooking right now that Bill may have taken this job to set it up for Steven to come in there, organize the Chapel Hill Tar Heels in a Belichickian way so that he can ride off into the sunset whenever he is ready to, and the next Hoodie is in line to take over. Hoodie Jr. is ready to step into that role and take over that spot. And I don't necessarily think that is all that aloof of a theory, to be honest with you. I think it's a very strong possibility.
Yeah, I was going to say they may not play that Belichick, but they may be playing a different Belichick.
Yeah, I mean, look, if Hoodie goes in there genuinely and accomplishes something here, and again, I'm not prepared to say he will or won't, but if Hoodie goes in there and he genuinely accomplishes something with the Tar Heels, and then he says, yeah, I want to go ahead and turn this thing over to my kid, and the Belichickian way has worked in Chapel Hill, then yeah, why wouldn't they do that, right? Like, spend some time coaching for him, getting your hands dirty in the college football muck in the mud, and let's see what happens. I don't really think it's all that. I don't think it's all that bad of a play, to be honest with you. I don't think it's all that bad of a play to go in that direction. Texter says UNC and the Hoodie. We are in South Carolina. We don't give a. All F-bombs covered up there, by the way. All three of them. This is a interesting spot to discuss a show philosophy. Here's the thing. There's a station in town that does primarily, almost exclusively, Clemson coverage. There are 1,000 stations in town that do primarily South Carolina Gamecock coverage. I have never made it a secret that on this show, we talk about sports. And we talk about, yes, I want to make them local angle. But I also think that Bill Belichick being hired by the University of North Carolina to become the new head coach, the new HC up there in Chapel Hill, I think that is a story that has the potential to become a historical mile marker in the landscape of college football. I think this is something that could very well shape, good or bad. Because again, as I've said a bunch of times, if the Dion thing fell apart at Colorado, this may not happen. But not only did it not fall apart, but Colorado's good. Colorado's good this year. Not great. But we always knew it was going to take some time to turn around. What were they, 2-10 before the year we got there? To turn that around and bring them to where the Buffs want to be before they're in the Buff publicly, right? So I think that because the Dion thing accelerated so rapidly that other teams are going to start looking to maybe follow that same model. And if Hoodie goes into North Carolina and that works, let's keep it a buck. A lot of you Clemson folks spent quite a bit of time talking about the potential for Dabo Swinney to be relieved of his duties if that team doesn't get back to where they need to get back to, right? Who's to say that you wouldn't be next in the bring a celebrity head coach to come run the program? I don't know. It's interesting. Texter says Steve Belichick must have been a heck of a hire if he couldn't get a job without his dad. I think Steve Belichick could have got a job. Listen, I can promise you there is some school somewhere that would have hired Steve Belichick, if only because he has the opportunity to talk to his dad, if nothing else. But now you bring in not just the hoodie, you bring in his kid. So if the hoodies program works, if the hoodies program goes well, they just roll it on to the next guy, into the next Belichick. And I don't think that's a terrible idea. All right, we'll talk more about this later on, but we got to run to a break. When we come back here in just mere moments from now, the host of the Panther Nation podcast, Rashad Beard, joins us on the show. We'll talk about what turned out to be a hell of a game with the Philadelphia Eagles last week. We'll ask him about the comments about from Steve Smith about Bryce Young. We got that coming up for you and more when we talk to Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation podcast. That's coming up in the very next segment of the Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Up Station. Rashad Beard, what's up, big fella?
What's going on, guys?
Doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good.
Glad to hear it. I didn't send you out of town again this week. You get a little break?
No, I'm ready to hit this Christmas break, though. It's been busy.
10-4.
Been super busy.
Thought the spy game didn't take a holiday.
Man, listen, it needs to. I need a break bad.
So what's the atmosphere like in the state of North Carolina about Bill Belichick? I mean, have you heard anything?
Man, you know, I see a lot of chatter on Twitter. You know, people are excited. You're gonna get some bandwagon fans, obviously, because you know you got the perceived GOAT. You know, so you know I think it's pretty cool. It's gonna be interesting to watch
for sure.
I think he's got an advantage because you know the NCAA is treated more like a business now, so he's gonna be coming in, being able to recruit and you know pay guys. So he's got an advantage.
For all the people that have said the college football is becoming the NFL light. Makes sense to hire a former NFL guy then.
Absolutely.
All right, here we go. Every Thursday at 8:40, we welcome into the radio broadcast the young man who hosts a podcast that has exploded in popularity over the years. And I'm not saying I take credit for a part of that, but I don't not take credit for a part of that. The host of the Panther Nation podcast, my guy, Rashad Beard, joining us here on the show. What's up, big fella?
What's going on, guys? I'm excited. Good stuff.
You should be. And we're going to dive right in because the Panthers were one drop football away from going on the road and pulling off the upset of the year up at Philly. Rashad, it's kind of an interesting spot because I said going into that game, look, I think the resurgence of Bryce Young has got Panther fans feeling some kind of way, and it should. He looks a heck of a lot more like what you wanted when you traded and drafted for the guy. But I also think there needed to be that mentality of like, look, we know what we are. We know where we are. We know this was always going to be a rebuilding year. Now, all of a sudden, you're going up to Philly, an 11-win NFC contender, and if XL doesn't drop the football, you're walking out of there with a win. There's a hell of a lot of reasons to be excited right now.
Yeah, no, we played Philly really tough. I was excited to see that. And again, we've been doing this the past couple of weeks. The change in this team has been drastic. It's been great. And here's the thing, like we're not even fully healthy. You got guys that are banged up. So I'm excited. I feel good about it. I hate that we lost in the manner that we did. Like you said, XL with the drop, not ideal, especially when it's dropped in the bucket by Bryce Young. And I know we're probably going to talk about Bryce individually, but man, for him to come out there and go 98 yards and just to see him come out there on the field with this diabolical smile and it's like he's just ready to go. That's what we wanted to see out of Bryce Young, and that's what we're starting to see out of Bryce Young. And that gives the week after week after week, it just, hey, he's the guy. Like he's the guy. Let's rally behind him. And man, I'm excited. He played a great game, and just if he had some more help. And just these wide receivers just could catch the ball, things would be a lot different here in Carolina, and we would be a lot more excited than what we are right now.
I gave some credit earlier that I don't think has, outside of you guys, has been pointed out that much, and that it's for the criticism of roster construction, which I think you have to go back and you got to put on Fitterer and you got to put on Reich and you got to some degree put on Matt Rule and others. Morgan and Canales took a swing by going and getting Deontay, and it turns out the guy's a head case, and he's already shown his ass up in Baltimore since he got moved on. They tried to go get him a 1. It didn't work out, but to me, you kind of know what that piece you need is in this spot. It kind of clarifies the offseason a little bit for me. On top of that, and this is what the mantra I've been saying, and I will admit, a lot of this comes just because I like the dude a lot, and Xavier Legette. We were playing some of the audio from his podcast with the St. Brown brothers, which is freaking hilarious if you haven't heard it yet. I think that dude's gonna need. We knew he was gonna need some polish when he came in, right? I've said the whole time at South Carolina, he could just out physical freak everybody. It's not going to be that way at the NFL. He's going to have to polish up. I think you polish him, you find the one, and you take that team and the grit and the fight we saw out of them Sunday up at Philly, Rashad Beard. Like I said in week 1, you got the makings of a good football team on the way.
Yeah, we're close, man. And again, like you said, we did know that we needed a little we need to polish up XL. But man, and I know that the word on the street, he's dealing with a little bit of a wrist injury. My whole mantra behind that, if it's not on the injury report, man, we can't really talk about it. I know everybody's banged up right now, so it just kind of is what it is. But man, it was tough. And XL, man, he got to catch that football. That's a drop in the bucket. You got to catch that one. And man, things are gonna be different. But like you said, it's gonna take some time. And we did try to go out there and get us a wide receiver 1. It did not work out. And what we have to commend Canales and Morgan for trying, right? They did try to get something going there with Deontay Johnson. Didn't work out, but we still were able to move forward. Guys like Coker, which should be coming back. XL, he's got to develop a little bit. Adam Thielen is playing out of his mind right now. Things are good. We're in a good spot. I just wish we could get some W's. But being the way things have been in Carolina for the past, 4-6 years, like this is a step in the right direction. I'm here for it.
So let me ask you this question, and we'll talk about BY here for just a minute. On average, how many yards a game worth of passing you think Bryce Young is losing due to straight drop? I'm talking drops, not the ball's too high and the guy can't make a spec. I'm just talking in the numbers drops.
Dude, at least 60 to 70, at least.
Yeah, I said I told Lonzo earlier, I thought 30 to 40 yards a game, minimum 30 to 40 yards a game is being left off the stat sheet just on drops. And I think if you get that corrected, the dude's going to look even better than he already looks. But, man, you talk about a 98-yard drive back against the wall. By the way, including one play where dude was dead to rights in the end zone and somehow had enough Crisco on the jersey to slip out and then drop a dart down the sideline on the run. Like, you're seeing all the little individual aspects that you need to see out of the guy, and he continues to put it together week by week. Steve Smith Jr. talked about it a bunch on his podcast this week about all the development you're seeing, whatever. That benching, and I said this earlier, I know it sounds awful. I don't mean it to. Andy Dalton getting in that car wreck might have been the best thing that happened to the Carolina Panthers this year. It sucks to say it. It makes me feel gross, but it maybe put BY out on the field with some pressure on his back, and hey, there's nobody to come save you this time, and you're seeing the results from it, man.
Rob, that's something you think in your head and you don't say out loud, man. You can't say
Thank
that.
Thank you. That's
Yeah,
what
you
I said
can't say
earlier.
it.
It's like, stop doing that. Don't do that.
Do you want me to BS here? Or you want me to keep you real, big dog?
Hey, they don't want you to pod is what I say on my show. But yeah, you keeping it real. I mean, honestly, that is the truth. We would have never seen this. This had, Andy Dalton, because Canales said it. He said Andy Dalton was going through a couple struggles, but he was playing well too. We wanted to continue seeing Andy Dalton. So if that never occurred, we would have never seen Bryce Young play in the manner he's playing. And I think he just needed that benching. And again, I was critical of it. I'm first to call myself to the carpet when I'm wrong, and I was wrong about the benching. It worked. He was able to step back, see what's going on, and he looks fantastic. He looks like a completely different quarterback, and I'm happy that he's made that turn, and let's hope it continues. I think it will continue moving forward.
Let's talk about one aspect of this that Steve Smith brought up on his pod, and I thought, by the way, friend of the show, Steve Smith, for both of us now. He said, look, Dan Morgan and Dave Canales, obviously, but Dan Morgan's the one that told BY, hey, you're getting benched. But he also said, I'm your biggest cheerleader. I'm your biggest believer. Outside of your parents, I'm the dude that believes that we're going to give you the opportunity. Because Bryce Young, there's that stat that went around. Like, Bryce Young didn't lose a football game from like his I don't know, the day he was born until he got to Charlotte, it felt like. And Dan Morgan said, look, we believe in you. We know you're the guy, but we want to give you the opportunity to sit and look and learn and understand from an angle where there is no pressure on you. All we need you to do is grow and develop. And Dan Morgan, apparently, according to Steve Smith, kind of gave him that little bump of like, you are still the guy. This is not a long-term thing. We just want to give you no pressure on you for a few weeks. I had to tell you, dude, like my belief in Dan Morgan is trending up rapidly.
Yeah, and what's interesting about that too is that Steve also said that is a rarity, right? That doesn't occur very often when your GM is your biggest cheerleader and wants you to succeed, because at the end of the day, his job is on the line, right? Especially with that type of pick and putting all your marbles in the Bryce Young basket, and for that not to work out, that could potentially be his job. So that is a rarity to have, and actually it be true, right? People say that, but actually it's actually being executed in action, that you're my guy, I believe in you, we're going to give you what you need, and you're going to be successful, and I want you to win, right? That doesn't occur here in the NFL just because everybody's job's on the line. So I'm proud of Dan Morgan. I'm proud of Canales also as well. This is working out. And I know it's been bumpy, right? It's not been great over the past couple of years, but things are starting to level out here in Carolina, and I'm happy. I'm extremely happy for Dan Morgan. I'm happy for everybody involved, because also with that, it's also being stated that, David Tepper is taking a step back, right? It's something we talked about on the show, and all of these things are correlated, right? With the success of the step forward that the team is taking. Things are starting to work out, and I'm just happy where we are. I have no complaints other than the fact we got to get some dubs, but no complaints at all with the way things are shaping out.
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. And by the way, and I know there's a conversation about Philadelphia's passing attack, and you got AJ Brown out there complaining. You got defensive players out there talking smack, and that's all well and good. I kept Jalen Hurts to 108 passing yards. You let him in the end zone twice, but hey, when you got AJ Brown and Devontae Smith and these cats, like, they're going to find the end zone occasionally, but you kept Jalen Hurts to 108 passing yards. So I think it's fair to ask. And one of the guys in the chat just said, are these teams playing a soft, expecting a pushover, but find out we're not just rolling over? Rashad, I'm gonna say no to that. I listen. Philly's in a weird spot right now. They're we've talked about the Chiefs being maybe the worst 1-loss team I've ever seen. Philly might be the worst 2-loss team I've ever played. You were in Philly. That's a notoriously tough place to play at the Link, and you kept Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown to 108 passing yards. There's something cooking on both sides of the football right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing. People are always going to say that, right? When Carolina is starting to have success, people are going to wonder if teams are playing down, right? And that could be the case. We're never going to know the answer to that question, right? We can only speculate. But listen, at the end of the day, I don't care. I just want my team to go out there and play hard. It doesn't matter what team we're going against. Just go out there. If they're playing down, then we got to take advantage, right? And so that's something we're never going to know the answer to. We just got to play it week to week.
How you feeling about Dave Canales right now? Because you play calling or locker room leader side or a little bit of both. Where are we at on Dave Canales right now?
No, I love it. I love where things are going. I mean, listen, I've had some questions about it. I've had some questions about whether his, happy-go-lucky, all positive attitude is going to work out, especially when things are not going well. But I love it. I think he's been telling the truth, right? It's one of those things where he has been out there telling us this is what's happening, this is what's occurring, and it's been relatively true, right? So as far as the coaching, I think he's improved last week. Last week on our show, we broke down some of the red zone woes. This week we were 2 for 2 in the red zone, and we're actually going for it. Somebody on our show coined him Casino Canales, right? For going for it on 4th down, right? So that's something that did not occur last week, but occurred this week. So things are improving. We got to remember he's a 1-year coach. He deserves some grace, and things are going well in my opinion. Everything locked from the locker room to play calling. I have little to no complaints. I mean, I can nitpick for sure, but I won't do that in his first year. I love where Canales is taking us. Things are going well.
Rashad Beard, host the Panther Nation podcast, joins us every Thursday at 8:40 to talk a little bit of Carolina Panther football. Team at 3-10, but like we pointed out, last 3, 4, 5 games have been some absolute fights. Rashad Beard, here's something that I have not been able to say to you for the past 2 years. We've been running this thing at each other. Panthers are favorites this weekend over the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, right? But I wonder how they're going to take that, right? I wonder, are they going to start to feel themselves a little bit and be like, all right, we got this under control. Everybody's feeling us now, and are they just going to go out there and play? So it's going to be interesting. It's like you said, it's something a position we have not been in a long, long, long time. So it's going to be curious. It's going to be interesting to see how we handle that.
The Cowboys are imploding, and yes, it is hilarious. I got Micah Parsons out there throwing temper tantrums and leaving the field early. Jerry Jones doing his thing every single game about how it's everybody's fault except his. Man, it is hilarious. This game feels to me, and I there's only one concern I have, which is if you get a ticked off Micah Parsons who wants to end Bryce Young, as he does most quarterbacks he plays. But outside of that, man, like this team feels like it is imploding. This team feels to me like this is a real good opportunity for Carolina to go up in an opponent that's just not that good, but is also mentally broken right now. Forget a win or a loss here. I know you want a dub. I know you all want dubs. I understand that. But forget a win or a loss. This game feels to me, Rashad, like if Canales goes out there, calls a good game, and the 11 on the field at any given time execute a good game, forget a win or a loss, you walk out of there and look like a damn football team that is organized and is executing, I'm going to feel real good about it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. 1,000%. And I think it's going to be a statement game too, right? Because obviously we know what happens when Dallas comes to town, right? The stadium takeover and all that good stuff. And it's time for us to push back on that and really show that we're here to stay. You know what I mean? So I think it's going to be a great run. I think we're going to play well. I think we have been playing well. And if we continue to play the way we have been playing, I think we're going to be in fine position to go out there and get a W. As long as we're healthy and things are going well and practicing well, I trust Canales to get this team in the right position to win.
Rashad Beard from the Panther Nation podcast joins us every Thursday at 8:40 a.m. to talk Carolina Panther football. The Cats at home this weekend, welcoming in the burning husk of what's left of the Dallas Cowboys. This one at 1 p.m. on Sunday at the Bank. I'm assuming you're going to be there.
Oh, 1,000%. You know that. It's going to be cold, but I'll be there.
What's cold to you, dude? We look at it's going to be like the 50s, ain't it?
No, I think it's going to be in the 40s somewhere. But it's all right. We'll be there, bundled up.
51 degrees according to AccuWeather, Rashad.
Okay, my
51.
apologies.
You might as well throw on a swimsuit and a tank top, my guy.
Hey, my bad. Okay, AccuWeather. Mr. Weatherman, need to get a new. It's time for a new role there.
This is true. I made a joke one time back in my old station about being meteorologist Rob Brown because my old station made me read the weather report, and the local news dude called me on the air and told me that I was a chump because I'm not a real meteorologist, Rashad. So take that, and go enjoy your 40 degrees.
Yeah.
Look, he tuned out. He's like, I don't care. I don't care. Appreciate you, big fella.
He was waiting to see what you did in return. I mean,
Nothing.
he got called a chump. You didn't do nothing?
Yeah.
Then he was right.
Lonzo's called me a chump 3 times today. Rashad Beard, make sure you follow him on X at Panther Nation PC. Make sure you check him out on YouTube. Like and subscribe to the Panther Nation podcast. Big dog, enjoy the game. We'll see you next Thursday, pal.
All right, sounds good, man. Thank you.
You got it. Rashad Beard from the Panther Nation podcast. Now, Lonzo from the Rob Brown Show reads you the Sports Flash.
By the way, weather guys, man, they're mean. You don't want to mess
obnoxious.
with them. First transfer portal names are starting to land in their new homes. Former Boston College quarterback Thomas Castellanos, whatever, has committed to Florida State. According to a social media, Castellanos left Boston College after losing the starting job back in November. He has 1 year of eligibility remaining and reunites with new FSU offensive coordinator Gus Malzahn, who coached him at UCF. You do know I did that on purpose, right?
Castellanos.
Whatever. One of the biggest names in baseball free agency has found a new home as lefty Garrett Crochet. It is Crochet. Has been traded from the White Sox to the Red Sox in return for a handful of prospects. In Crochet's first year as starting role, he went 146 innings with 209 strikeouts and just 33 walks. Tune in to Saturday at 11:30 as Furman takes on South Carolina State right here on the Fan. Like I'm going to take pronunciation guide from him. I mean, come on.
I can't even say the words bone-on-bone pain without cringing. Listen, pain from arthritis is horrible. It robs you of all the stuff you love to do. But there are effective ways to deal with that thing, and I'm not talking about drugs or surgery. Hey, everybody, it's Charlie James. There are exciting new cellular therapies that can get you lasting relief, and the place to go to is QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics uses cutting-edge treatment that accelerates your own body's healing properties, revitalizing your joints so you can get out there and move again. So if you're living with chronic pain from arthritis, maybe an injury, you need to know that steroids and surgery and pain pills are not your only option. Learn how QC Kinetics can use advanced regenerative medicine to treat the pain, enhance your joints,
It's a way of life, James.
your mobility, and give you long-term relief with no downtime. The local medical professionals in QC Kinetics are ready to help you get your life back with regenerative, restorative cellular treatment for your achy joints. This is the future of medicine. Call for a free consultation. They're at 864-448-3772. That's 864-448-3772 in Greenville and in Asheville. 864-448-3772 QC Connect.
Do you know the most important factor in your company's success? It's your people. They're the heart of your business. So how do you harness this potential? Insperity can help. From recruiting and onboarding to employee development and retention, we'll help you build a stronger, more resilient organization. See the difference the right approach to human resources can make, because how you HR matters. Find out more at insperity.com/HR matters.
This is the story of the one.
You send him the thing?
Already did.
Does he not have a wedding or anything?
Do what?
He doesn't have a.
No, it's all
They turn to Grainger with easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away, so the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call at Grainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Again, Centbeat story. Jim was at the laundromat when he heard his ear said, "You're rocket, senor," but his nose said, Hey, freshest scent ever. Following his nose, Jim found the man pouring a bottle of Gain Scent Beads into the washer. The scent, the freshness. Jim blurted, "Sir, your scent Mariah
So-
smells amazing." Actually,
You think Mario has ever ate raccoon before?
I don't know. We can ask him to find out. I'm going to go with Mario.
I'm going to go with the no there too.
Mario doesn't strike me as the guy who tries new things.
No, I will try. If you put anything in front of me, I'll try it.
Will you try raccoon?
Yeah, I'll try raccoon. Okay. I'm not above that. I ate gator last week. I love gator.
Gator's delicious.
Gator's really good.
There's a shop around the corner from me that sells gator tail.
Yeah.
Smoked gator tail's untouchable.
That's really good.
Trying to think if I've had gator before. Maybe back in a long time ago. It wouldn't have been fresh gator like what Rob has when he goes out and wrestles him and takes him down, cuts the tail off himself.
Does jujitsu on him?
He does.
Yeah.
Hey, the fight with a gator is not a fight you want to lose.
He takes his sunglasses off and that gator knows he's in trouble. What's that loop thing that they use to catch, gators and crocodiles and stuff?
I have no idea what it's called. I catch my gators with my bare hands.
I knew it.
Like a man.
Knew it.
God bless. King had said, Mario, sorry to hear about your brother's arrest. It's a Luigi joke. That's good.
Wow.
That's good.
That is so wrong.
That's good.
I've never gotten that before. Like I haven't gotten that yet since the old buddy did that. So that's a good one.
Welcome to the Rob Brown Show Armada, where the humor is just all the time.
Hey, it's a Nintendo joke and an irrelevant one with what's going on in the world right now. So
if I had to give that a score, I'd give that a 10 out of 10. To be honest,
yeah, that's a good joke.
Like, I thought that was an amazing joke. Yeah,
five-star joke. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in the final hour of the Rob Brown Show. Starts right now. Happy to have you all with us. And the other voice that you hear, aside from the sultry and seductive sounds of the great one Lonzo and myself, Rob Brown, my guy, hating ass Mario, a.k.a. Mario Heron, for the BetQL Network, rejoins us after his hiatus last week. Where was this bachelor party with your alleged friends?
Okay, it's my best friend. I was in Hilton Head, and it was – I've never done this before, so I'm curious for your guys' thoughts. He wanted to do, like, a mini bachelor party right before the wedding. So we did like a booze cruise and we golfed, and then it was rehearsal dinner, and then next day was wedding. So it was just all in one action.
Yeah, that's crept up in popularity in years gone by. How old's this cat? Is he your age? He's
my age.
12?
26. Like freshly 26. His birthday was Sunday.
Yeah,
mine was Tuesday, by the way. And thanks for wishing me happy birthday.
Happy birthday, by the way. How'd you like how they hide everything in Hilton Head? Like, good luck finding a Walmart or something, because it'll be a real little sign behind a big hedge.
Yeah, that was confusing to me. Like, Hilton Head's great, but it's like a mix between like a vacation spot and a retirement home.
Yeah, they take themselves way too seriously. They do.
Yeah. And it's like, let's just pick one and run with it, Like, why are we trying to do both?
That's fair. The mini bachelor party has has grown in popularity. The other one I've seen grow in popularity, I don't know if you've done one of these yet. I have, is the joint bachelorette party, right?
Yeah. So it's good that you brought that up. That was a discussion. Like, that was talked about doing a joint one, and then eventually it wasn't. That didn't end up happening.
Okay.
And I said that was a bad idea. Like, yes, for my opinion, I go, it's your wedding. It's like whatever you want to do, but I don't think you should do a joint one.
Yeah, like the logic behind it obviously is like, you shouldn't do anything on your bachelorette party that you wouldn't do if your person's there. And for the record, like, me and the boys did a bachelor party in Atlanta, which we went to like a Braves game, a burger joint, and then we just drank a buttload of beer in an Airbnb, and like that was it. Like, nothing, whatever. But at the same time, it's just one of those things that I think it's so ingrained. It's like let me and the boys be the boys one more time. You know what I mean? Like you and your girls go be the girls one more time. Me and the boys going to be the boys. I'm not going to do anything that's going to like jeopardize the wedding, but like let me. And on top of that, I don't know all your friends. If your friends come, I got to be on my best behavior. I want to not feel feelings for a few days, you know?
That was my point. It's like, obviously, I'm not saying this like, oh, we're going to go to, a club and, we're going to do things that, you don't want your wife to know. That's not like the point of it. It's just like, you want to be with the fellows like one last time, one last go. Right. And like you have, the point of a marriage is you have the rest of your life to spend every single moment and second with them. Why not just have a weekend where it's just you and the fellas? Like that sounds like, I don't know. That makes more sense to me. And like you said, like, what if, you do the joint and then there's always, you always have that one friend that, says that one comment that makes the girls mad. And
it runs the whole thing.
Yeah. And like, that's going to happen. Like it's, that's 100% happening. You don't want that to happen.
Yeah, I don't disagree at all. Texter said joint bachelorette trip. You mean the trust issues trip? Yeah, it's pretty much.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
that's literally it. And it's like, why, what are we doing here? But, you know whose bachelor party I want to be on? Chapel Bill.
Chapel Bill. You know what? Ordinarily with Mario, we just jump right into the NFL stuff. But Mario, noted fan of the University of North Carolina, is quite excited about his brand new.
Man, you missed it.
Oh no, I avoided it.
You missed the gun show.
His brand new 72-year-old head coach who steps on campus and on day one is the oldest active coach in FBS football. A guy who has never coached college football before. Mario, the floor is yours. Why are you excited about a guy that after he lost Brady accomplished nothing?
All right. So first off, those teams after Brady weren't spectacular. So, let's give them a little help on that.
Who was notably in charge of that?
True. That's true.
Thank you.
All right, you got me there. But here's my point about
Robert Kraft.
You'll get
Robert Kraft was in charge of that. It's all Robert Kraft's fault.
Here's my point about Bill though going to UNC. You are not a serious football program. Even if you really wanted to go the younger route, like you said, after Mac Brown, and you wanted to get the next up-and-comer, you wanted to get the next Saban, right? So let's say you do. You get, the other guy they apparently talked to right before Bill was Tommy Rees. You get Tommy Rees, and he's, the next big thing. How long is Tommy Rees going to be there for? Really? 2 years? Tops? 3? Awesome. Then he's gone, and then what are you going to do? You're going to go search for him again? You're going to go get the next Dan Lanning? You're going to go get the next Kirby Smart? And then what? He's going to be there for 2 or 3 years? Here's the reality. No one's going to stay there. If you really swing for the hills and you get a guy that's going to make you 10-2, 11-1, he's going to be gone. You're not going to pay him because at North Carolina, you have a basketball program that means more. You have a women's soccer team that, let's be honest, kind of means more. They just won the 23rd championship. You are a pipeline for a lot of Olympic sports that requires a lot of money. You don't have the resources to put it all into football like the SEC schools do. As soon as a job comes up for A&M and you got a really good coach, guess what? He's gone. LSU, gone. Ole Miss, gone. Bama, gone. You don't have the type of, environment where if you have a Dan Lanning, he's going to stay there with you and tell Bama no. You just don't have that. So why not, when the greatest coach we've ever seen in football that has 6 Super Bowls tells you he's interested, why not say yes? Why not? More money's coming in anyways. More money's coming in.
Here's the take I had on it. I actually said North Carolina would be foolish not to take Bill Belichick, but not because I think that Hoodie is, going to come in and bring 6 natties to Chapel Hill like he brought 6 rings to Foxborough, Massachusetts, but it's more theft is encouraged. We have watched what happened the moment Deion Sanders stepped foot in Boulder, Colorado. The University of Colorado Buffaloes went from a team that nobody had talked about since their last natty in 1992, maybe the most visible college football brand in America overnight. Hoodie doesn't have the same celebrity and the same glitz that Deion Sanders does, but he is still the most notorious name out there in college football. He has spent the last year building up his brand and his celebrity by being on the Manning Cast and on the McAfee Show weekly and all these other things that he does. If no other reason, you go do it for the brand awareness of North Carolina football specifically. Hoodie is now the second biggest symbol for the Heels behind only the Jumpman logo. You do it for no other reason than the brand and the attention, and you hope he builds himself a roster of coaches that can carry him in the places that he doesn't know because he's never done it before.
And also, a lot depends on his staff, right? Like, I was talking about this with Ryan Horvath last night on BetMGM tonight. You can catch 7-11 Eastern Monday through Friday.
I was going to promote you. Calm down.
It all depends who he hires as that OC,
Don't
right?
you dog him for doing what you do like every day.
I was
that's all you do. That's who do you think I learned from?
That's fair.
Yeah, you don't, I don't take notes when I listen to you. Anyways, with Bill, like even in the years where things were going downhill with the Pats, right? Like what stayed solid? The defense. Like the defense always stayed good, right? North Carolina's defense historically has just been brutal. Like they have one good edge rusher like every 4 years or so. And then that's pretty much it, if we're being honest. So you look at Bill and you go, you got the defense going to like be good. That's going to be taken care of. Who's he going to hire for his OC? Because that's how you're going to get your skilled guys, right? That's how you're going to get your skilled players. Is he going to try to get, there's already kind of like a pipeline, if you will, between Saban guys and Belichick guys from the NFL and college football in years past. So does he try to get some Saban guys and go, hey, you're familiar with this college game. Can you come in here and kind of run the offense? Or does he go get Josh McDaniels, which I think wouldn't be his best decision, and tell him, all right, run a college offense from here? That's, we'll see where he goes with it. If he nails that, I think it'll be solid. But I'm also being realistic, Rob. Like I don't think, like I saw that Brian Baldinger, who's, is a very great football mind. He's like, I think they can win the conference next year. I don't think that's going to happen. Like, I just don't think so.
Have you seen this conference? This conference is weak. This is the perfect place for him to go. He's got the best shot to win right away.
He does, but but my expectation's not that though. Like, I don't think he's gonna come in and like just take out Norvell, take out Dabo, take out SMU, see you Mario Cristobal. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think 9-3, which is for UNC is a national championship, is fine. Like the expectation's so low. Just don't go 6-6 or 7-5, and everyone's happy in Chapel Hill.
By the way, you go 9-3, you could go to the ACC championship.
9-3.
Yeah, you literally you could. You have 2 big wins of those 9, and you're fine.
Yeah, you're not necessarily wrong. Let's see. Michael in Simpsonville texted the show, said, I'm just sitting here laughing at delusional Carolina guy having hope. Congrats on being 4th in the ACC next year. This is hilarious.
4th behind who?
Yeah, who's
Clemson, SMU, Miami, except for Mario Cristobal the biggest loser in college football? Like, it's incredible. It really is. Not Florida State in 2-10.
Yeah. I mean, they just picked up a QB in the portal now.
Sure did. Thomas, what's his last name? Lonzo from Boston College. What's that guy's last name?
He's pretty solid.
Is it? Oh, that counts. Oh, that counts.
Not only does it count, but you said the whole sentence.
No.
Then said that counts all while it was counting.
Yeah, but that's one thing. That's one thing.
He said 2 sentences.
It was still one thing.
What's his name?
Still one might. So I already folded. Never mind. We're 2-2. Whatever.
Thomas Castellanos from Boston College, who left BC because BC was flipping to a pocket passer, pro style offense, and he's a moving quarterback. He's a lot more Kevin Jennings than what he was allowed to show.
Hey Mario, when you're needing something pronounced, do you ever go to Rob Brown to ask him, hey, how do you pronounce this?
No, I use ChatGPT actually.
You would.
It's smart. It works every time.
I like Chat. I'm a ChatGPT guy. I'm not mad about it. Have you? Speaking of AI.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny
That was awful.
Have you been exposed to AI Creed yet?
No, but I've been told 2 weeks ago by Jason Lockenfora that I look like Creed, like a young Creed.
Wait. He just said you look like Creed? Like the whole band? or
The
just like
lead singer, singer, that guy. I don't know his
Scott,
name.
Scott Loser. Yeah.
Scott Stapp, you loser. First off. Second off, you just have long hair. Do you just look like you look more like Lonzo than you do Scott Stapp?
So by the way, Lockenfora is kind of an older guy, so maybe he doesn't like hippies.
Yeah, I think maybe I confuse you with like 89 Brett Michaels.
But right. It's I'm just saying through his eyes, you would be a hippie, and so would I. That's what I'm saying.
True. That having
plus
long hair,
don't care.
Having long hair, you get a lot of you look like this person, and it's just like, dude, if I shave my head, no, I don't. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing about my face that we look alike. You get a lot of
Scott
those.
Stapp did shave his head at one point. We can try it if you want.
No, I'm all set. I'm getting a big haircut though. Next week, we're doing a different hairstyle. We're changing it up.
To what?
I don't know yet.
The Karen bob. I feel like you'd be good with a Karen bob.
I don't know. I think I'm gonna get it really short though. Not like short, but like a little medium long.
You have just lost Alonzo as a fan and supporter.
There's disappointment over here. There really is.
You've just
unless you go Mohawk, then I'm good.
So at the wedding, I was getting a lot of compliments. They're like, I was just getting a lot of like, if you go shorter, we could see your face more. And you have a pretty face, and I was like, okay.
Hey boy, you got a pretty
mouth.
Yeah, I got persuaded pretty quickly. I was like, all right.
All right, real quick, because we have asked exactly one sports question so far. I feel like we should get this back on track.
That was an entire sports segment. I don't know what you're talking about.
We talked a lot about Bill.
Who would you rather be in charge of right now? The imploding Eagle offense or the imploding Cowboy team as a whole?
Eagles offense, because we were talking to a Eagles beat reporter last night, Olivia Reiner, and she was saying that the offense is like, it's just the passing game. It's just having some bumps in the road.
Oh,
yeah. But that's also like, I think this whole like drama thing with AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts is a little bit blown out of proportion. I think AJ Brown just runs hot. He's a receiver that runs hot, and he's a guy that constantly wants the ball, that constantly thinks he's the best in the NFL. And you kind of need that attitude to be great. And when you don't get treated like that, you're going to be a little bit upset. So what do you do next game? Well, you force feed the living snot out of them, and then you just see what happens from there, right? Like, just make the kid happy. So that's just what they're going to do this week. I'm going to bet AJ Brown props. I'm going to say they're going to do everything they can to get him involved in the game, and then he's going to be a happy camper. Winning cures all. As long as they keep winning, they're going to be okay.
That's fact. Real quick, opposite side of that game that they were in this weekend, Bryce Young comes out of the shadow of the end zone, goes 98 yards, and is a Xavier Legette drop away from upsetting the Eagles. Is that more the Eagles played down to Carolina, or are you with me on board the BY's actually pretty good hype train?
Oh, I'm on the Young hype train. It's not a one-off. Like, he's done this like consistently the past couple of games. Like, he's stepped up massively the past couple of weeks, and like we talked about this before, the suspension like kind of worked in a way. And it's also, we're in week 15. He's more comfortable in this offense. Like, this is his second offense. He has to learn. No, not even second. Third offense he has to learn, really, at this young of an age? Like, that's a lot for the guy to get used to. It's not like he has, Stephon Diggs or an AJ Brown that he can just, say, F it. He's right there. He's open. Even if I don't understand what's going on, he doesn't have that. He's a young QB. Give him time. Every young QB deserves at least 3 years to see what they are. Bryce Young's something special, man. And he's proved that the past couple of weeks. Keep getting that guy time and keep building around him.
I don't say this very often. The highest compliment I can pay. Mario knows ball.
Thank you. Chapel Bill.
Okay. I'm taking it right back. I'm taking it right back.
I can't wait to cut the sleeves off of my UNC sweatshirt.
Oh, God. Mario Heron, a.k.a.
Wait. That's the haircut he's getting. He's getting a Belichick.
You getting the
okay. I don't love him that much. I am not getting that.
Hayden As Mario, a.k.a. I like that your actual name is your a.k.a. Hayden As Mario, a.k.a. Mario Heron. He is the executive producer of BetMGM Tonight. You can hear it every single night from 7 to 11 p.m. right here on the Fan Upstate and fine Odyssey stations everywhere, as well as us making fun of him on Saturdays from noon to 4.
Also, if you want a little Charger action, maybe some gambling action, check out the Bolt Crew podcast. It'll be live at 4 p.m. Eastern today on Bolt Crew YouTube. Just search Bolt Crew and it'll pop up, or you can get it anywhere you get your podcasts as well.
You have learned. I'm proud of you.
Taking notes. I take notes.
Enjoy Thursday Night Football, bud. We'll talk to you next week.
See you next time.
Mario Herod, hating ass Mario from the BetQL Network every Thursday at 9 o'clock. When we come back, it's Thursday, and you know what that means. Fight Club with the great one, Lonzo. We'll talk some boxing, MMA, and pro wrestling next on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Nice job, bud.
Chapel Bill.
Stop it. Stop it.
Chapel
Stop
Bill.
it. Stop it.
Chapel
Also, look at my guy up here. I know you can't see him.
I'm going to keep saying that because it bothers him. So
Who is that?
I will
So
continue.
who's that guy on the right? Do you know? There's a cat on ESPN, Mario, doing a.
Ninkovich.
Is that who it is? Is that Rob Minkovich?
You know Ninkovich.
Yeah, he used to play
You
for the
said-
Saints. Rob Ninkovich. That's
No,
what I said.
yeah, you said Minkovich.
All right, whatever. Rob Ninkovich is doing a segment in his garage, and is the tag.
No, it's because they showed his name earlier.
Oh, okay. That checks out. On his tag, it literally says live from his garage, and I respect the hell out of that.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to start doing my show from my garage. I got to get a garage.
I bet you look like a guy that like you could deck out a good garage.
Oh, for sure. Listen,
Yeah.
the dream for me has always been and will always be to get a nationally syndicated show that I do from some dive-ass sports bar somewhere.
Yeah. I always wish I had like ideas for a good backdrop, but I'm not creative like that. You know what
A
I mean?
bar, just any bar.
Yeah, literally any bar with like a Mike Ditka, literally just like that thing right there of Mike Ditka flipping off
Yep.
the camera. That's
Yep.
all you need.
Yep.
Or Chapel Bill.
Goodbye. See ya.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm going to hit the restroom as well. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, please. And thank you. Be right back.
I must put that in the wrong spot. Or it disappeared because I know I put that in there. I don't know where it went. All right, it's time for the Fight Club here on the Fan Upstate. I'm really concerned and I'm hurt still, and I hate to start with this again, but I got to start with New Day again. I got to do this. All right, so Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, they want to explain what they did, and the crowd is saying no, we don't want any of that, and so they're getting the kind of heat. They're saying it's the worst heat ever. It's not Dom Mysterio heat, okay? It's still pretty bad, though. There's nothing you can say to us to make it better for what you did for Big E.
Yeah, the Dom turning on Ray stuff that kicked off the Dom Mysterio heel heat was fantastic, and it was so well played. And when it got to the point that Dom was getting booed so loudly he could never say anything, WWE kind of leaned into that and started turning up the crowd mic a little bit to make it more impactful. There is no need for that here. I mean, these two cats have become the best heels since I don't even know.
Well, and how they're going to play this, at least so far, is awesome. So they're going to play it like you guys just misunderstand. We have a good reason. It's really it's being done in other ways to a degree with Drew McIntyre and with Seth Rollins. And I don't know, maybe there's a new faction out there somewhere. But what's the end game for this heel turn? Do they become champions again? I mean, it took me a while to rack my brain to remember who the champions were on Raw, and it's Finn and
JD's big ass head.
Yeah, big old head. I couldn't get past big head. Let's take a big head. What's his name?
Here's what's interesting, and you know, I've said it for many years. Wrestling is at its best when we have no idea where it's going. Now, sometimes we have no idea where it's going, and then it ends up going somewhere dumb, and you ruin it. But very often, you have
Vince
no idea
ain't
where it's
there
going.
anymore, so you know,
Right.
I got a good shot of it.
Exactly, actually making sense. To me, there's two ways that this goes. Way number one that it goes is they do end up becoming champions. They end up becoming, you know, absolute b-holes as champions. And then Big E does get cleared to come back. He comes back with the tag team partner and he ends up winning those belts off of them. And we get a Big E pop that he deserves. Or way number two is these two guys have just full on breakdown because for 10 years, they've been the guys that everybody liked, even heels liked the New Day. And they go through, you know, a few weeks, months, years of being disliked by even Otis is actively avoiding them at this point. They go through, they break down entirely. And at some point after they get to their lowest low, Big E comes in and he brings back the power of positivity. And we get the old New Day back for one good run with the three of them in play. I don't care which way it goes. It's going to be spectacular either way. All I know is I am a big Xavier Woods guy, and even I can't stand that gross, dirty son of a biscuit right now.
Yeah, every time I see him, I think that's the first wrestler I ever interviewed.
Yeah.
And now I wish I hadn't. I wish somebody else would have been the first one that I interviewed. It's bad. Speaking of what I think could be potentially bad, and you could change my mind about this. Believe it or not, you can change my mind.
That'll be a first.
Specifically, could Raw on Netflix stall the moment that the momentum that WWE has achieved? Because I know, well, everyone's got Netflix. Well, no, they don't. But just about everybody had USA. If you haven't completely unplugged, you have USA. It's on Dish. It's on capable. It's on.
You're capable of finishing this thought.
No, I'm not. It's on DirecTV. It's everywhere. Netflix, not necessarily.
I mean, does it have the possibility to? Yeah, it does. For sure. I mean, the more you restrict access, and that doesn't necessarily mean you're putting it behind $100 a month paywall. I mean, you're just restricting access by definition of making people pay a subscription fee. The more you restrict access to anything, you're going to start seeing people that are going to drop out. But I think at the end of the day, as long as wrestling's been around, I don't know what a Netflix subscription cost per month anymore. That's in the wife's realm of the bills. I assume it's less than $20 a month. You know, if you are somebody that loves this art form and loves these shows, you're probably willing to come off of that. And oh, by the way, you get access to everything else on Netflix at a point in time where Netflix is going to start picking up football games and Netflix is going to start showing boxing matches. The live entertainment aspect of Netflix is obviously their priority right now. So it's not just that you're getting Raw. I'm assuming you're going to get some PLEs that are Netflix exclusive. I'm assuming you're going to get some other, special content that is Netflix exclusive, but you're also getting all those other live events that are starting to migrate over there. So do I think it will slow down? I mean, maybe in that you won't have as many people watching, but they're cranking out numbers right now.
All right. So I didn't know either because my wife takes care of it too. I just looked it up. Netflix standard with ads is $6.99 a month. I thought it was more expensive than that.
I mean, that's
standard without ads, $15.49. Premium is $22.99. So, I mean, the most you're paying is like $25 bucks.
And listen, I absolutely, without a doubt, have premium Netflix because I hate the ads if I don't have to watch them. The lady friend,
we love radio ads though. They're amazing.
Oh, for sure. Well, we have to
TV ads up.
The ads that are out there, excuse me, not the ads, the shows that are there. Like the wife is massively into true crime documentaries, right? Like she is the one that every murder doc she can get her eyeballs on, she's convinced she'll be the one that cracks that case open. So she's addicted to them.
I think it's a wife thing because mine.
I think they all do. It's just it's a gender.
They know what their demographic is.
For sure.
And yeah.
So it's kind of a bill we don't mind splitting because I get, again, starting in 2 weeks, I get NFL football, I get boxing, I get I think they're picking up some golf events down the line, right? And now I get wrestling on top of that. I don't mind paying it. So for me, it's not going to change anything about my habits. In fact, if anything, it's going to make it easier for me because I can just put that on every digital device and not miss anything. Will it slow it down? Yes. In as much as anytime you add any subscription fee to anything, you're going to have people who bail out. But if you got an 8-year-old son that you watch wrestling with and he loves wrestling, you'll come up with $7 a month to watch.
Well, the other thing, Netflix wants all the big stars. If they're going to go, okay, you can have all the big stars. Who's left for SmackDown, which is going to go to 3 hours according to rumor. And, so that's your replacement. I don't know. I'm interested to see. I hope the momentum doesn't die. One thing that is happening this Saturday at 8 p.m. on NBC is Saturday night's main event. Now, back in the 80s, when wrestling was, as far as WWF at the time, was starting to get really big when Hulkamania was running wild, they started doing these every once in a while. And it was like the only time I really got to see wrestling other than WCW, NWA stuff on TBS. So, the thing that's hitting right then is the WWF, and they end up with cartoons and all this kind of stuff. But Saturday night's main event was a big deal. And you would look for when it was coming on as a kid, as a teenager, to see it. And the fact that they're bringing it back, I think is cool because, and probably also an advertising ploy to get people to go to Netflix after they go, wow, I haven't seen wrestling in a long time. They're just flipping through their regular channels and they see it and they watch a little bit and they go, I want this. Oh, I can only see this on Netflix. I'm going to go to Netflix. That may be part of it, but it's a pretty good card so far, including Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn.
I really like this. I really like this story because it's one of those times where I think, and obviously you've got the angle of Seth freaking Rollins being involved here as well. I think it is interesting because it's one of those times where, like, yeah, Drew's being a Class A butthole, but he's right. You know what I mean? Like, he's right. All the people, and I get it, and I get wanting to take down Solo and the Bloodline and all that. But for a guy like Drew, it does not change what Jimmy J and Roman did to him and how many opportunities and how much money in kayfabe it would have cost them. They screwed Sami Zayn over time and time again, and yet Sami just went crawling right back. Why? It's like we understand on the surface level why Sami Zayn did what he did, but if you're a guy like Drew or a guy like Seth Rollins, it is also understandable that you would say, bleep those guys. I'm not helping them at all. I don't care if they get destroyed. Absolutely not. And that's what makes this interesting, is that neither one of these guys is wrong, but when you understand the cause of the bad guy and his reaction is to punch people, it makes it compelling.
All right, here's the thing. Drew the Crusader, which has always been the last year or so, he doesn't win very much. I mean, what good is your crusade if you don't win? I think he beats Sami Zayn.
I do too. I'll tell you, my only fear is that he beats Sami Zayn and it ends up being something where the OG bloodline, the OTC bloodline, ends up going after McIntyre again. And it's like we're right back where we were. I agree with you. McIntyre cannot, especially on a fresh return, can't eat another L. But if you have Sami if you have Drew eat the L dirty, it doesn't change that he lost again. If you have him get a dub over Sami Zayn, what does that mean for McIntyre after that? I don't really know the answer, but I'll go Drew McIntyre.
All right. WWE Women's United States Championship matches for the first United States Championship for the women. It hasn't been decided who's going for it yet, so I will give you the 4 names. It's probably going to be decided. Well, would be decided Friday night on SmackDown. It's Bayley or Chelsea Green versus Michin or Tiffany Stratton. Now, you know it's going to be Tiffany Stratton for sure. The question is, will it be Bayley or will it be Chelsea Green?
Oh,
I know who I want it to be.
I know who I want it to be. I think we want it to be the same person, and I think it's going to be that person. I think they're going to put this whole title on Chelsea Green.
See, I don't think so. I think friend of the show Bayley wins the whole thing. I think they want to. I think they want her to be the inaugural champion.
I love Bayley. I love friend of the show Bayley. This is going to be one of the few times where I kind of like step out of the line from being big fans of friends of the show. Which also, by the way, heavyweight championship, 66% of the card of the fight.
We're coming to next.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm sure. I think it's gonna be Chelsea Green. I think she's earned her way into that spot. I think she's earned her way into an opportunity to get strapped and to carry that thing around for a while. I think Chelsea Green wins this one, and I think she wins that title as a whole.
All right, so I'm going to go with Bayley on that. WWE World Heavyweight Championship match. You know, in the past, when it's a triple threat, it's usually because the challenger, it's not reasonable that the challenger can beat the champion. I don't know if it's that way with this match. It's friend of the show Gunther versus Finn Balor versus friend of the show Damian Priest. And I like the harder edge that Damian Priest has been using, but it's just like how he was when he was in the Judgment Day to a degree. I'm going with Gunther here. I think Finn Balor would be the surprise, but I'm going with Gunther.
Finn Balor would be the surprise. It'd be a surprise I'm on board with. I'm a big Finn Balor fan, but Gunther's absolutely winning this thing. And not only is he going to win it, but because of the storyline that you told leading up to that last fight with Damian Priest about, I lost my confidence and I'm not the same guy, whatever. How do you get them back? You have him have a Roman Reigns type win where he stacks him, racks him, and counts him up to 3 and gets a double pin over both of these cats. It lets them go fight elsewhere. They beat the hell out of each other. Gunther comes in, takes advantage. It sets up a run for Finn v. Damian, and it lets Gunther go back to looking like a monster. I'll take Gunther.
All right. 2 more matches. WWE Women's World Championship match between Liv Morgan and Io Sky. They're not going to put the belt back on Io Sky. Liv Morgan, either it's a no contest because of interference or Liv just wins outright.
Yeah, I agree. There's a bunch of different ways it could go. Does damage control get involved? Does damage control turn on Io Sky? Hey, you go hang out with your new friends now and maybe come out thinking they're going to help and they take it away from her. I don't know.
Rhea Ripley's going to come out and interrupt this.
I'm sure too. And again, she has the champ's advantage. If Rhea does anything, then that ends this thing. By the way, Liv v. Rhea is going all the way to WrestleMania, isn't it? It just feels like it is.
It probably should.
So, and because of that, I'll go Liv Morgan.
All right, and finally, undisputed WWE Championship match between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. Love this match, by the way, and I still am of the theory if they're going to put the belt back on Roman, it's not going to be Roman beating Cody. It's going to be somebody else. There's so many things going on now. If Netflix wants Cody and they want Roman, then neither one of them can have this belt when that rolls around. This belt needs to stay on SmackDown, and if that's going to be the case, this is the place. And the rumor is that a belt will be changed this weekend. I saw the headline, didn't want to read to see which one that people think it's going to be, but I think it's going to be this one. I believe that Kevin Owens is going to shock the world, not me, but shock the world, and beat Cody Saturday.
I am and this is true, big Kevin Owens guy. Big Kevin Owens guy. I would love to see KO get something done here, but I don't think it's going to be the case. I think you're getting Cody Rhodes, who is upset about everything that's happened with Randy Orton. I think he's upset with the way that KO has handled this whole thing. That's the other thing, getting the belt on Randy Orton. You give the belt to Kevin Owens, then Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton. Randy Orton gets another championship. Yeah, but I'm not, even with H in charge, I'm not convinced that's necessarily a priority enough to them to take the belt off the white hottest babyface they've had in forever, right? Like, at the end of the day, this is the part I hate about being an adult cynical wrestling fan. Where do the dollars and cents stack up? And the dollars and cents stack up to the guy who's been your number one merch seller for 2 years, staying on that wagon until you have a really good reason to take him off. And as much as I love Kevin Owens, he ain't a really good reason to take it off. Back after this with a story that is going to get under Lonzo's skin, I guarantee it, on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. That's what's up.
Bill Belichick is now the head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels. He signed a 5-year deal that needs to be approved as a formality today by the North Carolina Board of Trustees. NFL is Sunday afternoon. Home game for the Panthers. They host the Cowboys. The Panthers came up short, losing 22-16 at Philadelphia last week.
Give me a second, guys.
2 minutes.
Number 16, Clemson visits number 3, Texas. The winner advances to face number 4, Arizona State in the Peach Bowl on New Year's Day. Furman men's basketball returns to action this Saturday afternoon. It's a home game against South Carolina State. Now it's women's basketball beat UNC Asheville 60-50 last night. Classic Rock 101.1 is your home for Carolina Panthers play-by-play all season long. Download the Odyssey app, search the Fan Upstate, and listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Chuck Sanders with Sports Flash on the Fan Upstate.
Diesel here from the Fan Upstate. Join me every Sunday at Dave & Buster's on Woodruff Road from 1 to 2 p.m. Catch all the biggest games and try the Eat and Play combo. An entree, drink, and a $10 power card for just $19.99. But hurry, it's a limited time offer.
Do you know the most important factor in your company's success? It's your people. They're the heart of your business. So how do you harness this potential? Insperity can help. From recruiting and onboarding to employee development and retention, we'll help you build a stronger, more resilient organization. See the difference the right approach to human resources can make, because how you HR matters. Find out more at insperity.com/HR matters.
I'm Brian Tedesco, CEO of Healthpoint America, the pioneers of car stereo. Today, we're not just about sound systems. We are revolutionizing the e-bike scene with Blue Dot Bike. Thanks to AmericanEagle.com, our online presence now features a dynamic e-commerce website that showcases the quality and affordability of our foldable e-bikes. And our collegiate e-bikes, just perfect for the college fanatic. These e-bikes offer a new way to experience freedom on 2 wheels, no matter your age. When we needed a top-notch website to match our cutting-edge e-bikes, we turned to AmericanEagle.com. They made the impossible seem easy, tackling digital challenges like pros. Check out the Blue Dot Bike website to see AmericanEagle.com's amazing work in action. Need the best in website and digital marketing solutions? AmericanEagle.com is your go-to. They've been a game changer for us, and they can be for you too. Visit AmericanEagle.com or call 877-WEB-NOW1. That's 877-WEB-NOW1.
Order for Jennifer C. Is this for double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double whip, double sleeve? Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine? Did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year? Oh, really? That's great. Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year? Yeah, you just said that. Did you say I just said that? Yeah, I'm cutting you off. I can't have any more? Why not?
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
From the Ingles Market Studio.
Punch your ticket to the best local sports. 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg. Always streaming wherever you are on the Odyssey app. Rise and shine, sports fans. Grab your coffee and a jolt of sports on the Rob Bradley Show.
So the flag planting controversy from Rivalry Weekend has been escalated in an attempt to de-escalate, I guess is the best way to put it. In the midst of the melee that broke out at the end of the Ohio State-Michigan contest, State Representative Josh Williams has filed legislation in the form of House Bill 700. Lonzo, House Bill 700 would, quote, prohibit planting a flagpole and flag in the center of the Ohio Stadium football field on the day of a college football game. It is dubbed the OHIO Sportsmanship Act. The NCAA has already levied some fines and whatnot. Now this man wants to make it a, hear me out on this, felony to plant a flag on the 50 and specifically in Ohio Stadium. Not across the state, just in the middle of the scarlet and gray O.
Well, because of what's it, reciprocity, you can only do it in certain places probably. I had already read that and while petty and funny, I hope it works just because it'll bother you. You said it get under my skin. It will. If it passes, it will bother you.
This is some Karen weak ass SAWFT soft weak ass stuff. I said that twice. That's how soft it is. That is pathetic, dude. That is pathetic. I'm adding back my clips one at a time. That's weak as hell, bro. That is the definition of saying flagpole 2 p.m. and then having your mom show up.
What?
That is weak.
I have no idea what you just said. This from a team who tried to copyright thee. So I don't know why. I don't know why you're surprised, and I don't know why you thought it would get under my skin. I think again.
Is that how you want to be represented?
Again, it's not me.
Don't plant your flag on our field. It's very unsportsmanlike.
It's not me doing it. Someone has to pay for that pepper spray. They don't want to waste that on. It might be useful against actual criminals. So this way you don't have to use it anymore. I know you want to read Joe's thing so
I'm
bad.
going to. I'll let you finish, but I'm going to.
I can't filibuster. I'm not going to, but I could. You try to see what time, dude. I could talk.
Listen,
I could talk out
the
13 minutes for sure.
The only thing that is worse than this legislation, the only thing that is worse than me reading Joey B's comment on the stream is you spending 2.5 minutes filibustering to defend what you know to be true.
Did I defend it? I think it's hilarious. I really do. I think it's some grade A trolling. And I think it's awesome. The fact is, beat the team, then you don't have to worry about them planting the flag. But the other thing is...
Right, so why the hell are we filling felonious legislation?
I think it's hilarious.
That's weak as hell.
I think it's funny. I think it's more funny that it bothers you. So it's effectively bothering people. So I don't believe this is serious at all. I think this is trolling. And if so... I think it's working.
This is trolling if and only if this guy in secret is a Michigan fan. And he's like, watch this. I'm going to make Ohio State fans embarrass us.
No, when people think something of you, you just go ahead and go with it and go to the extremes of it. And it and then take some joy when it makes people mad. Please pass this. So Rob can be mad every day the rest of his life because it got passed.
Let's be real clear. I ain't mad about it.
It's bothering you. It's not bothering me.
Hang on. Let me finish. I'm not mad at it. I am laughing that this is what you are represented by. The people of Ohio, Buckeye fans in oh no, Buckeye fans across these great states of America, of which I have been to a lot of them. Y'all are everywhere. You are represented by a guy that goes, "Don't plant your flag in our field. It's very rude."
Listen, I know we're a sports show, and I know sometimes you and I escalate to the point of raising our voices. Well, it's mostly you. In the end, I have nothing to do with this. I think it's funny. Do I think it's petty? Absolutely, I think it's petty. It's petty to the highest degree. That's why I want it passed. Because if you're going to be petty, why not take it all the way?
It's not petty. It's weak. This isn't petty. Petty would be passing a law that says that it's illegal to wear the colors blue and yellow in Ohio, in Columbus on Saturdays.
I'm pretty sure that's
petty would be directing
pending.
it at Michigan, not at yourselves. You're making yourselves look like weak asses with this.
Really? I don't
yes,
think
really.
so.
Literally, not the comments, all the 2 comments that have come in so far, but that's the point. It's weak.
I think it's hilarious. All right, it's time for What the X, where I ask Rob what is Xing, and he will tell us why. You know what? I've been skipping this a bunch, but why not? Because it's been Xing every day, and I'm sure he knows what it's going to be. Drones.
Okay, so apparently
it's not. I mean, there's a lot of footage out there. I know footage can be faked, but I mean, it's coming from actually major news stations.
There is a handful of drones or drone-like things.
Listen to his tone.
It's not a tone. You got to stop assuming that just because I don't go, everything Lonzo said is great.
No,
I'm being sarcastic.
No, I don't care if you believe in it or not. Your tone definitely changed. We talked about different voices all this week, and you're using a different voice.
Yes, there is. And the reason the tone shift is because here's a thing that is reasonably easily explainable, and I got people that go, it's aliens, and then people start buying this crap. Right?
No,
I'll tell you. You know what I'm at right now?
I was more talking about the Iranian mothership, and it's from Iran. That Iran is sending the drones out.
Here's what
I didn't want to talk about the AEPs. I mean, that's a more reasonable explanation. More than likely, it's like for a movie or someone's just trolling. But I don't think it's aliens at all. It could be an Iranian mothership where I think it's Congress or somebody had to address it and say there is no Iranian mothership. But if there was an Iranian mothership, they would say there's no Iranian mothership.
Right. That's how conspiracies work.
Well, that's also
I don't have any evidence to prove this is what's happening, but it's what would make sense.
By the way, that's also how the government works.
My favorite thing going on right now is in an advertisement that came across my YouTube 2 nights ago. Randy Orton and Sheamus are selling digital wave blocker stickers that you put on your body and it blocks. And it's like, these aren't real. And yet here are 2 people that I really like to respect.
Does it?
Effectively.
Okay.
Except for they block a spectrum of light that is like 50 exponential times less powerful than just the sun. You would do more good for society selling sunscreen than what you're selling.
By the way, it's a lot easier to block out those signals. Just buy some aluminum foil. It's been used forever. I mean, foil hats they're inexpensive, and you can make them into any shape you want.
The point here is
I made mine into a Batman cowl.
The point here is that there are a lot of, and I'm sorry to say it, really dumb people out there. And the more stuff like this catches on as like, oh, this is a legitimate real thing that's happening, and those people buy it, the more the stupid people get power.
Are there Vegas odds? I'm just thinking of this. Are there Vegas odds about where the drones came from? I mean, we got time for you to look that up. I know you don't want to. No, I'm just curious what the Vegas odds are.
But what sports book would I go to find that?
Look.
That's not how it works.
You don't want to look. I mean, I can look it up. Why don't you want to look it up?
Oh, feel free. Go find me that number. No. Go ahead.
I don't know why.
Go ahead.
I don't know why you're being mean. What do you think they are?
Because you are promoting a conspiracy theory that is bad for America. That's why. This kind of crap is bad for America. It's a problem because the longer that dumb people feel justified in believing dumb things and being led to believe that, well, this is how I feel and therefore it is valid in the town square. No, it's not. Some people have dumb ideas and they should not be allowed to exist.
Let's see. Yahoo,
the ideas, not the people.
New York Post, USA Today, NBC, New York Times. I'm trying to find it, but all these supposedly legitimate news sources are talking about it.
Supposedly legitimate. They're not saying the thing I want them to say, and therefore they're bad.
Rob, I think they're just drones, and I think people are trolling.
Yes.
With the drones. What do you think they are?
I think they're drones.
Why can't the government find out what they are?
I'm done with the show for the day. Let me find a clip that I can play on the way out that makes me laugh. Oh, there it is. I found it. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Come back tomorrow. They're not aliens. They're not you are the worst.
I already have music playing. There's a clashing there. I had to fade one or the other. It's bad radio. We got to go.
See you tomorrow. The Rob Brown Show, the Fan Upstate. Bye.
Told you wouldn't read it. Ha. Take that, Joe. Ha ha.
Sir, I don't need evidence. I have YouTube. That is literally the train of thought for like a solid half of America.
By the way, I haven't talked about this all week, but because of the Creed thing, I felt it was time to get some payback.
Oh, man. Unbelievable. All right, that's it for me. I have to go do real stuff.
That's it for because I won.
Yeah, that's why.
Even your boy Joey says it's them aliens. Let's see them aliens. You haven't seen the ones where the drones morph into aliens and it's actually they made it look like drones so people would think they're drones. And why New Jersey? That's the thing. I've been there before. Why do that there?
If this conspiracy theory is unbelievable, if for no other reason than they came here and they picked New Jersey.
Although, having been to New Jersey, there's some weird things there. So, I mean,
When Courtney and I went up to New York last time we went up there, we flew into Jersey, and then we had to go across the river into New York. And this is not a joke or an exaggeration. We got to the airport in Jersey. We got off the plane. We went to the airport. We came out of the airport. Everything in New Jersey is gray. The sky is gray. The buildings are gray. The ground is gray. The grass is somehow gray. The people are somehow gray.
And you can't turn left.
Everything's gray.
And you can't pump your own gas. It's against the law.
Everything is gray. It is gross. It is nasty. It is ugly. And then you go into the tunnel and you come out the other side of New York, and it was beautiful. This blue sky, and the people were wearing colors, and the grass was green, and there were trees and stuff. Like, legitimately, it was like going through a. It's like Bigfoot, a trans-dimensional tunnel to go from one world to another.
Hey Joe, move to Canada. They have trains, and you can go there until they become the 52nd or 53rd state to the United States. I mean, if that's what you want to do.
Meaning that even the most powerful people in the world can say stupid things.
You could roll your eyes to the point where they get stuck and it hurts.
Yes.
People have to guide you around because you are just constantly looking at the ceiling. Although I guess you could turn your head down like this just to walk.
Again, we have entered the FAFO era.
Here's what we're doing.
I'm just sitting back.
Here's what we're doing.
Relaxing.
We're ending the show the way we started it. Silly. Which is what I like.
411 on the Upstate Pulse Christmas show, Lonzo.
What do you mean?
Requested by Trey.
It happens next week. No, we're not going to be able to do it at a location because of lack of sponsorship and some other things. Also logistics, the things that we're going to do next Saturday would have been a little more difficult to do live on location. That's all I'm saying. And transportation of one of those things, by the way, Rob, has happened today and might need some help to get it in the building. I'm just saying. So, and that's as much as I'm saying about it.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Tell your friends about us. I want to be famous and rich. Goodbye.
Oops.